uwager.lv, sportsbook, and casino. Sign up today at uwager.lv, the premier online sportsbook, taking wagers since 1998. The most player-friendly lines, weekly juice specials, and a true dime line in MLB. Unique casino platforms with thousands of games. Play poker, high stakes, low stakes, or tournament play. uwager.lv, what we offer. Free same-day payouts. Customer service and wagering support, 24/7, year-round. Free monthly rebates on your action and daily casino rebates. Contests, free bets, best bonuses, and giveaways. Generous referral program. Get an 80% free play bonus on your first deposit, up to $1,000. Sign up today, and use promo code SPORTSWEB. Remember, you can't win if you don't play.
Gentlemen, let's talk about tomorrow's game. We got the playoff implications. The Tennessee Titans are in Jacksonville. And ladies and gentlemen, can you believe that the Jacksonville Jaguars are a 6.5-point favorite in this game? I mean, we understand why. They're playing their fifth-string quarterback who was bagging groceries a couple of weeks ago. Yeah! And the total is 40 points. Andrew.
What's on the Lions practice squad?
What do you think, Andrew?
Yeah, I definitely think that the Jaguars are the overwhelming favorite just because of what you mentioned there, the quarterback situation. You got a guy that was literally on the practice squad for the Lions a couple weeks ago, now starting in the most important game of the Titans season. And that's not who you want behind center, obviously, but they got no other choice. Jacksonville's been really they've been wild the last couple of weeks here. They've been really taking a different image to the team overall. And as a Giant fan, I'm just glad we paid them early this season, not later in the season. So I got Jacksonville to win this, cover the spread. And I do think it's going to be a pretty decent scoring game for them as well, because I think, to be honest, the Titans are just going to be just trampled over.
Cool. Peter?
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, Trevor Lawrence threw for 4 touchdowns earlier on in the season. I expect the same here with this Titans defense. It's very inconsistent. Titans team overall is inconsistent, and they've definitely been hurt by injuries. How about this story, guys? In 2022, the Jacksonville Jaguars go from the worst team, one of the worst teams in the league, to a playoff team. I'm betting Jacksonville. Playoffs! I'm betting on Jacksonville to win outright here over the Tennessee Titans.
It's almost like Urban Meyer was a bad coach.
Oh, you think?
Oh, no, it's almost like that.
You think?
And I'll tell you what I like.
Urban Meyer. Here's what Urban Meyer stands for. There you go. Urban Meyer.
No. Lap dance music, maybe.
Wait, did you say lap dance music?
Peter wants some Daphne on him. Daphne to the stage, please. Daphne to the stage.
Anyway, I'm getting ready to mute both their microphones.
This guy sucks.
Tennessee's at Jacksonville. Jacksonville 6.5-point favorites in this game. Now listen. I can't even finish my thought. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take a 30-second commercial break. I got to go piss myself.
Oh, my God. This commercial break is brought to you by Depends. When you have to piss yourself, Depends is the one to go for.
I hate you both. But people usually ask, Harry, boxers or briefs? And I always say, depends.
Alex, stand by.
This guy sucks.
Anyway, this is what I like. Tennessee's at Jacksonville. It's a 6.5-point favorite. Look, guys, Tennessee's playing. They're not really playing the greatest football. But these two teams generally play very, very tight. I do like the 40 points in this game. I think there's a good position playing under. I think Jacksonville is this year's Cincinnati Bengals. How about that? Okay, worst to first.
Wow.
Okay. Do I think they're going to the Super Bowl? Who knows? I think they win the game, but Tennessee covers the 6.5.
What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another edition of the Evolution of Sports Talk Television, your post-game edition for the Sports Web after your Tampa Bay Buccaneers fall to the Atlanta Falcons 30-17. Falling to 8-9 for the season. How do we start off this show? Bring your passion, bring your excitement. Just don't bring any nonsense. I know what people are going to say. They're going to think that I'm going to lose my mind. But coming into the game, I mean, honestly, this is a meaningless game. You've already made the playoffs. You've already taken care of business. What you're looking for is what the score was in the first half. You see, I kind of try to keep things in perspective. You're up 17-10. You were able to establish some drives, score some points, put some points on the board. Still fumbling the ball, not good. Chris Godwin with the second week in a row. That's somewhat concerning. Although you have to give the defensive player credit for that. Of course, we've seen this happen all year long. Is it disappointing that you don't finish out on a winning note? Yes, of course it is. But again, keep it in perspective. Most of that second half, or if not all of that second half, is backup players. And yes, you get to see the greatness of Kyle Trask, who wasn't so great today.
This guy sucks.
With that being said, there's a couple numbers here. 727-255-0391 and 727-409-7528. We'll get out to Mr. Alex here leading it off, and then we'll get out to Ray Kennedy, best of the Bay. Alex, welcome to the Evolution after your Tampa Bay Buccaneers fall to the Atlanta Falcons 30-17. Your thoughts?
Hey, bud. I just wanted to give you my thoughts before I head to a little get together with the family.
Yeah.
But I think overall, I think what happened in this game is what we talked about the other night.
Mm-hmm.
You guys asked me, did I think the starters will start? Maybe the first half. I was on the nose. Tom Brady played the first half. I think if you're mad that the Bucs lost this game, you don't know football. I think they won that first half football game. I think they played pretty decent, all things considered.
Correct.
I think the only mistake they made, which is really not his fault, because if you would have looked, Chris Godwin giving that fumble up, I think that was just a good play by the defender of the Falcons. Just knocked that ball out. But other than that, you didn't see a Mike Evans in there today. I don't think he played at all today.
So I guess my question for you, Alex, has this killed your confidence? Do you feel confident about this team going in?
Absolutely not.
So you still feel confident in this team going into the playoffs? Playoffs! Yes, I said playoffs.
I feel confident if we still keep the momentum that we had at the second half of that football game, which in my opinion was not killed today because what we talked about earlier this week is what happened this week. You were probably going to see maybe a few starters. Again, we saw no Mike Evans. I would have liked to see him go out there a couple drives just to keep going a little bit, just to see if, with Tom and maybe throw him a couple deep shots just to see. But you know what? I expected whatever happened today. We won the first half of the football game. That's all that matters. Everything in that second half doesn't matter. It was a see what everybody else has If we lost, who cares?
Right.
But no matter what, am I confident going into the playoffs? I'm going to answer your question the way I always do. It depends on who we play. Do I feel confident that we can? I feel more confident in the Bucs going to face a Cowboys team than facing an Eagles team just because I'm not bold with it. I think we have better chances. My personal opinion, again, what do I know? But
you know a lot because first, you're a smart guy for calling the show, the evolution of sports talk television, consistently. Second, you do know football because you watch football. We've been through it this year. We talked about the coaching. We talked about the turnovers and the penalties and the injuries. And hopefully the Bucs are getting healthy at the right time. Now, they lose earlier on. Robert Hansey goes out with a hamstring injury. There has been no report of that. I think that's more for precaution, if you will, for this team. Of course, you don't want to lose anybody. Russell Gage goes down with an injury. So that's a little bit concerning because he's been hurt all year long. But relatively, the big-time injuries that you're trying to avoid, Tom Brady getting hurt, he doesn't. Mike Evans goes out with an illness. He doesn't play in this game. Chris Godwin is healthy. Julio Jones didn't play. Vita Vea didn't play. Carlton Davis. So you would have
a lot
to
of your
think,
starters.
correct.
A lot of your starters didn't play. Which
got rest.
Again, we expected
correct.
that.
Correct.
But to answer your question, do I feel confident going into the playoffs with what I've seen the last 2 weeks? I can say with somewhat good confidence, yes. If two things are going to happen, two things in my opinion are going to happen, and then I'm going to let you go so that other people can go ahead and call them.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Number one, if the offensive line can hold up, which I'm hoping we can possibly see a Ryan Jensen back for that next game on the front line. I don't know what the situation is with that yet.
Correct.
I don't know if you know anything about that, but if we can if that front line can hold, and I'm gonna be bold with this one, let Tom Brady call his offense. That's it.
Well, be more urgent, and I agree with you on that. More urgency.
I said that.
Yes.
I said that a couple weeks back, and I was called stupid. I said, what was it, 3 or 4 weeks ago, that I said that the Bucs need to play the 2-minute drill mentality more often. You play with that urgency like they did, that second half of that football game last week. I think the Bucs may have a decent shot. And like I said, it's just going to come down to who the Bucs play. If I'm a Bucs fan, I'm going to want that Cowboys over that Eagles team any day. It's my personal opinion.
I gotcha.
Just based off, what the Eagles have done this year and the success that they have. We haven't faced them this year. We faced the Cowboys. We know we know a little bit about them this year. So, like I said, that's my personal opinion. Like I said, I'm excited about what happened, the past game and a half. I'm not excited about what happened this season. I think all things considered, I get it. We had some injuries, but I still think half of our games was absolutely unacceptable. I don't think we should have lost half the games we lost, but you know what? That's in the back. That's in the rearview mirror. We'll see what happens. The last thing I want to say,
yes,
going into the playoffs, is I want to talk for just 1 second about the quarterback issue. Going into the offseason, man, oh man, do I think Kyle Trask is not going to be that guy. I'm not going to sit there and judge him based off a couple snaps, but
sure. I think it's tough, because this is his first start. This is his first game action during an NFL game besides preseason. He didn't look good. I don't think there's enough of body of work, but I trust this organization. And if Trask is not able to beat out Blaine Gabbert, then I'm not sure what his future is with this Tampa Bay Buccaneer team. We'll see how it works out.
Not only that,
right.
It's just that this is the last thing I want to mention about that. And then I have to get going.
Yeah.
But two things. I just think that come this time next year, you are going to be looking at a totally different division. What's going to happen with the Saints? There's some rumors that Tom might go to the Saints. There's some rumors that the Panthers might be a totally different, team.
Coach
Look at the
team.
Falcons.
Right, exactly.
I think the Falcons are one of the teams that's going to have the most cap space going into this offseason. So, if you look at all that, we could be looking at a totally different topic come this let's just say, in my opinion, the 8 games that we won is not going to win your division. So.
Yeah, it's a year-by-year league. You're exactly right. Not for long. Good stuff, Alex. Let me go ahead and give you the Byron.
How about them Bucs, baby?
Playoff game next week. Playoffs. I don't know if it's going to be Saturday, Sunday, or Monday. We'll get out to Tampa Bay Ray Kennedy in a moment. Let's read these comments. First is Troy Polamalu. Second and third. Okay, Troy. So I guess I'll give you this.
Flawless victory.
Bucs suck, and then you start out with this.
This guy sucks.
Let's go out to Christopher Cole. That game was weird, absolutely weird.
Yeah.
And then Evans got ill and was scratched. Let's get out to Tampa Bay Ray Kennedy, and then we'll go out to our phone lines here. Mr. Tampa Bay Ray Kennedy, welcome to the Evolution. Let's go out to Ed here. Ed, welcome to the Evolution of Sports Talk Television after your Tampa Bay Buccaneers fall to the Atlanta Falcons 30-17. You're on with yours truly, along with Tampa Bay Ray Kennedy, best of the Bay. Go.
Hey, Peter.
How you doing, buddy?
Hey, Tampa Bay Ray. What's up, brother?
What's up, Ed?
So, we could have all just took the week off and not even watch football today because the Bucs really didn't really care about this game. And I understand why. I probably would have done the same thing. I wouldn't even have played Brady. It would have been me.
Well, and again, we discussed this throughout the week, and he even had a spirited debate with Mr. Jason Powers, which, by the way, I think I won that bet because Mr. Powers said it was going to be only a couple series, and it ended up being most of the game. 3:56, Blaine Gabbert comes in, throws a touchdown to Gage. But I told you that, not only Brady wanted to get some records today, he wanted to keep that momentum. I think that was encouraging with that offense leading 17-10. They still had a turnover there. They still did some things that you don't necessarily want them to do during the playoffs. Playoffs. But at the end of the day, you have to be happy with that first half. Now, the second half, completely, totally different story. And once again, doesn't mean anything. I mean, look, they've gone into a losing season, but they're in the playoffs.
Hey, Peter, hold on a second. I'm sorry, brother. I've been listening, and we've got the passion coming. But first of all, the only record that really mattered today that got set was the 50th touchdown to Kyle Rudolph, the tight end. You got that on the first drive. This team went in there. They moved 75 yards, consistently picking up 3 first downs. They put the ball across the goal line, and you should have had your starters running for the showers, putting on the ball caps, and telling jokes on the sidelines. They should have been doing this the entire time. You know how long my mind's been on next week since last week, and I kind of hope this team has as well, because as much as you'd like to finish 9-8, at the end of the day, it's that postseason tournament. The only place this Buccaneers team lost today is they didn't pull their starters right after the first drive. Instead, they go 3 and out and then turnover, and you continue to perpetuate that myth about this Buccaneers offense being inept and trying to score. They scored that first touchdown. You pull them off the field. The backups go in there. Falcons are playing their first stringers against our third stringers. I get it. And still, Kyle Trask. Okay, the moment was big for him. But you know what? His first time in the league in live action. Now he's got tape. He's got the learning lesson. And he sees how fast they actually come when they're playing for real.
Now, Ed, I know you're on the call here. Travis, I see it. Go ahead and call back. We'll put you on hold. Again, open phone lines. We got 2 new number. We got 1 new number, 727-255-0391, and it is 727-409-7528. If you can't get in on that first line, Ed, go ahead, and Travis, call back.
Yeah, I mean, we could have took the week off because the Bucs did. We knew they were going to do this. There wasn't nothing anything they were going to do today, but other than just rest players, and that's what they did. I agree with Ray Kennedy. They should have definitely not even started Brady, and they should have definitely, after that first drive, just pull the rest of their starters out.
Hey, Ed, now time out, though, because Tom throws Kyle his 50th touch. He's only played in, 3% of the plays this season. He throws him number 50. And now you've maybe started to establish that little bit of a Gronkowski / Kate Otten / Kyle Rudolph / O'Keefe and them hugging on the sideline. So it's always about the small victories. At the end of the day, the winner lost 9-8, 8-9. When they won in South, they're playing next week. This was about people getting time. But that 50th to Kyle Rudolph between Tom Brady, 100%, I agree with you, Ed, totally.
And, of course, Tom Brady, 11 for 14 on the game. This was earlier on. He set the NFL record for pass attempts in the season, surpassing Matt Stafford with 728 in 16 games in 2012. And he also reset his own NFL record for completions in the season with 488. This according to Greg Allman of Fox Sports. So, Ed, what else? We got Travis on the line here. Anything else?
Yeah, I'm very confident the Bucs are well in the playoffs and that we're going to
playoffs.
Playoffs.
All right, guys.
Appreciate that. Thanks a lot. Let me give you the Byron Leftwich.
Bucs, baby.
Let me go out to Travis here as things are going on as we speak. It looks like the Chicago Bears break up the Chicago Bears. As Harry the Greek, professional handicapper extraordinaire, 1252 Chicago predicted on Friday night, the Chicago Bears have the #1 overall pick. I got to bring in this guy, Travis Fraley of Rocket Sports and Entertainment, my Around the NFL correspondent. Welcome to the Evolution after the Bucs lose and your Chicago Bears lose today, but they got the first overall pick because the Houston Texans and Lovie Smith gift wrap it for you. Welcome.
I have to tell you, Pete, I've been watching. I watched the first quarter. I watched some of the second quarter of that game. Then I went about on my day. I came back during the fourth quarter, and I'm like, all right, Indianapolis just took the lead, blah, blah, blah. And then I kept my eye on it, And, you know, I've had some interesting things to say about Lovie Smith and the way he coached the Bears, and especially in the Super Bowl. But I got to tell you, Peter Blake, Ray Kennedy, and Harry Berg, which I hope
he sounds so happy, doesn't he? He sounds so happy.
Love me some loving, I love me some loving. January 8th, 2023.
Oh,
January
that's
8th, 2023.
Hey, Travis. Lovie couldn't even throw the game like he did back in 2014 when he had a 20-point lead on the Falcons and we pulled Devontae and the rest of the team so we can get that #1 overall. Lovie, you figured he had it. There was a precedent. He can throw it for the big pick. But man, I'll tell you what, the Bears at #1, and they're not going to be drafting a quarterback, right, Travis? And #2, second follow-up question, they're going to get something good, some draft capital for that #1 overall pick in case there's a team out there that wants that quarterback, aren't they?
It's going to be unbelievable. Let's get back to the Texans game, though.
Travis, I tell you what, stand by because we got the Chicago connection working. Let's go out to Mr. Harry the Greek here. Let's go ahead and merge these two calls together. We got Harry the Greek, Travis Fraley of Rocket Sports and Entertainment, if this thing will work. There we go. We got them both on here. Welcome to the Evolution. And Travis, I know how happy you are. How happy are you, Mr. Harry the Greek, professional handicapper extraordinaire, 1252 Chicago Sports?
I don't know if I can be any happier, except for my wallet's a lot happier. I could tell you that.
Well, how much did you make? How much did you make today, my friend?
You can't talk numbers like that, Peter. You can't talk numbers.
Why? Why can't we?
You don't. Hey,
on the show. You shut up, Ray. I want to hear.
You don't tell. You never tell where the bodies are buried. You don't share how much you won. You just say, "I had a good day."
All right.
I had a real. You could have traded off your computer.
Okay,
that
kills me.
You know what? I just want to hang up on both of you right now.
Oh man, no.
BS.
I just need to go down to the fourth quarter here. On the last drive, there was a 4th and 20 for Houston, and he ended up getting a first down. Then it was 4th and super long on the very last play of the game. He throws a touchdown. It should have been intercepted. Then Lovie Smith, instead of kicking the extra point just to send it into overtime, he went, hell with it. Let's go for 2, wide open.
Right. That Houston makes Lovie the coach, and we figured all along he was a stopgap coach, even though the guy does have a way of putting those defenses together. But did this seem like Harry and Travis? Because I didn't watch the game at all. I was focused and tuned in on this Buccaneers-Falcons game. Did this seem like it was Lovie's, if this is his last hurrah in Houston, wherever he'll land on his feet next year, this was his way of going?
You know, that's a great question, Ray. I'd like to answer that because if we go back to when we were talking on the over-under with everybody and the reasons why, it wasn't because I was hoping. Of course I was hoping that Houston would beat them. Houston's been playing very good football. Lovie Smith knows he's probably going to get fired. He has no allegiances whatsoever to the Houston Texans organization, and he's playing for his NFL career. He wanted to go down with a fight, period. And that's the sign of a coach that can still coach in the National Football League. Ladies and gentlemen, let me be really clear on something. This team may have won 4 ball games this year, and Houston didn't have very much talent. Davis Mills has been injured half the year. He's been coming in and out. They got a defensive team that you couldn't pronounce 2 names on there if you even tried. But let me tell you one last thing about the Houston Texans. Thank you. That's all.
That's it. That's all.
Pete, let me ask you, Pete, though. Oh, go ahead, Travis. I'm sorry.
Well, I was going to say, and just to piggyback on what Harry was saying, this Houston team has been in games and had leads multiple times, and they just couldn't hold the lead. And what's also interesting is I'm thinking, from Davis Mills, Houston might not be looking into a quarterback this season because they might be in the running for Williams next year.
So Travis, can I pick up on that? Travis, can I pick up on right there where you're at? So does that mean having a defensive-minded coach like Lovie Smith and the windfall that could come in a trade at number 2 for another team looking for a quarterback and possibly the pieces you can put in place, wouldn't that maybe stand to gain? Dance with the one that brung you, or go with the dog, the devil Lovie Smith might actually be a great coach for the Texans in 2023. But guys and girls, we know that at this day, even with Sean McVay out there in LA, it's really all about get the last guy out here, get the new guy in here. We'll buy ourselves some new time, sell some tickets, and that's the part of the NFL with the legalized gambling and everything that I personally will never like.
And I feel like ownership should fire Lovie Smith because he basically cost him the number 1 overall pick. But then I get it.
But Pete, his players played for him. His players played for him today. So you got a coach,
right? And he's trying to convince. Right, he's trying to convince the Houston ownership that this team is still playing for him, which they have, even though the record is not great at the end of the day. I get it. He's trying to fight for his job, but he basically cost this organization an opportunity to possibly get
Pete
the number 1 overall.
Is this a Buccaneer pre? Hey, now hold on a second. Go back to when we had a 20-point. Go back to when we had a 20-point lead over the Falcons in 2014.
Right.
And Lovie.
Yes, the Saints, 20 to 7.
The Saints. I'm sorry, but Lovie didn't want to throw that game, and literally at halftime they pulled the players out of there, and Lovie was not letting a full pull for that pick. But I can't see where the difference between number 1 and number 2 as far as the players played for you today. I mean, you got to coach it.
There's a big time difference. I think you'd rather have Jameis Winston than Marcus Mariota at the end of the day. I mean, I think. With all that being said, Jameis Winston did have a better career overall than Marcus Mariota, but we can always debate that in anything you want to debate here on the Sports Web. We're on with Travis Faley of Rocket Sports and Entertainment, of course, around the NFL correspondent, and then we got Harry the Greek, professional handicapper extraordinaire, 1252 Chicago Sports, Tampa Bay Ray Kennedy, best of the Bay. I'm your host, Peter Blake, here on the Evolution post-game edition after your Tampa Bay Buccaneers fall to the Atlanta Falcons 30-17. Let's talk about this game, gentlemen. I'll start with you, Travis, and go to you, Harry. What do you take out of this game besides, pretty good first half, and then after that it was all downhill. But it was downhill because you're playing your backups versus a Falcon team that's looking for momentum to start next year.
Just got to stay healthy. That's all you wanted to go into this game, Pete. The score didn't matter other than to maybe Brady, who didn't want to finish under 500. But if your team finished healthy, then that's a W all day long. Even though it's an L on the board, it's a W. You get your mindset ready for the wild card game next week, possibly against Dallas, probably against Dallas, and you go in and you're happy with what the result today. Absolutely. Hey, Harry, what was that prediction you were trying to make a few minutes ago?
I'll go back to the prediction, and I'll tell you about the Bucs. My prediction is I think the Bears are going to move back 2 spots in the draft. They just got very wealthy by doing this, and they're going to trade with Seattle because Seattle went to court.
Wow.
And Chicago ends up with the defensive player that they want, either the kid from Alabama or the young man from Georgia. And then they stockpile a whole bunch of picks. This is like winning the Super Bowl for this team because they got $140 million in cap space next year, and they have a ton of draft capital.
And they might be able to use some of that draft. Seattle might be able to use some of that capital that they got from the Broncos, even sweeten the pot for the Bears. So, and Indianapolis might want to move down also here, Harry. So, the sky's the limit right now, and this is going to put Ryan Poles in the catbird seat. We're going to get a real good look at what this guy's going to be able to do going forward. So that's my Bears talk for this week, but I'm excited as hell, and I know Harry's excited as hell. It's the future could be very bright for this team.
Let me ask you, Travis, because I've been asking fans here, and then I'll get out to you, Harry, and we'll finish off with the Bucs. Do you feel like, are you confident in this team, what they've done the last 2 games to go into the playoffs and at least beat the Cowboys? Or are you still on the fence, or you don't think they have a chance versus the Cowboys or possibly the Eagles?
Yeah, I've said this before to you, Pete. I think Dallas right now is strictly relying on Dak Prescott because they have all 3 phases. Dallas is going to go as Dak goes. So if Dak plays well, plays good, or plays well and doesn't give up the ball multiple times, the quality teams, I think Dallas could be in the Super Bowl.
Wow.
So that's just
strong comments by Travis Faley of Rocket Sports Entertainment. My problem is Dak Prescott is throwing too many interceptions. We talked about this here on the show before. How do you feel about this Bucs team, this game today? Of course, meaningless coming in. The Bucs are going to have a losing record this year, but you still make the playoffs. But overall, the game itself against the Atlanta Falcons, Harry.
Great question. And I just wanted to add that the Greek did cash the Atlanta-Tampa game because, as I told everybody, make sure you play the first half. Because the starters were going to play the vast majority of it. I didn't even take the points. I took the Bucs on the money line, and they were winning at halftime. I wouldn't touch the second half. Now, with that being said, I don't like the matchup against Dallas. We've had these debates already with Ed and I talking on the phone when he's calling into the show. It is not the matchup you want to see. Yes, they've already beaten them this year. It's very difficult to beat a team twice. It's not so much that I'm worried about
He's touched himself.
what Scott's going to do. It's Dallas's defense that's going to pose the problem up, for Tom Brady and the very porous offensive line that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have shown. Let's not get too excited. They were winning at halftime in this game when they beat Carolina. We're talking about the Dallas Cowboys.
Hey, we're also talking about a team that was throttling Cincinnati Bengals in the first half to the tune of Joe Burrow's worst game as a pro. So it is flashes in the pan, but at least we know that the capacity is there, and this team has it within themselves. But can they close a game down? We haven't learned that yet in 2022.
But I was also at that Cincinnati Buck game, Ray. And what happened in the second half?
Yeah, total different story. You turn over the ball 5 times, 4 for Tom Brady. One of the worst calls I've seen in NFL history with that fake pump because it takes the momentum out of the hands of this Bucs team at the end of the day, and that starts it. And again, Brady would even admit that this wasn't his best game. Hopefully, you get back Ryan Jensen. You're getting an opportunity today to rest Donovan Smith. You get an opportunity to rest Tristan Wirfs. So I think you're looking at this team. You're going to be relatively healthy, and you really haven't been like that all year long. Unlike last year going into that Rams game, you were definitely beat up. Tristan Wirfs was out of the game. Chris Godwin was out of the game. And, of course, if you have those two players, maybe we're talking about a back-to-back Super Bowl run, but that's neither here nor there. A new season starts, and it's either going to be the Dallas Cowboys or the Philadelphia Eagles. We'll keep you abreast.
I'd rather see, and this is the point I was going to try to make, it's not Dallas that they want to face. They can face this Philadelphia team. Right now, this Tampa Bay Buccaneer team does not have the mo, and that is unfortunate because they can make a run in this playoffs. If they get Philadelphia, I'm letting you know right now, Philadelphia will be favored by 6 points, and you could take Tampa on the money line in that game.
Harry, can I ask you a question?
Philadelphia, go for it.
If the Bucs, if they would, after that first drive, they go 75 yards and 9 plays and 3 first downs. Honestly, I don't know the numbers. If they'd have pulled that offense right then and went into just, all right, now the rest of the day, you be magicians. You keep some of the firsts, work in seconds and thirds, bring a few practice squad players, slowly get the big guys out, keep Levante here, rotational basis. Would the Buccaneers had more momentum going into this next week game as opposed to going out the next drive and going 3 and out and going out the next drive and turning it over and then hitting the sidelines?
Great analogy, Ray, and you kind of led the question for the correct answer. And
I know. I'm sorry. I do that. Sorry.
Don't apologize. That question is an excellent question. I would have rather seen them pull him then. That first drive, not from my pocketbook. I was glad that they kept him in, obviously. But honestly, yes, I think that momentum would have been better because sometimes someone's mental stability, is their best ability, especially when it comes to playing football. Unfortunately, they didn't. They started showing their soft spots. It started regressing back to what the Buccaneers had looked like for 5 or 6 straight weeks in a row. That's what I didn't want to see. So if they were going to play him almost a full half, they should have even had him come out into the third quarter for at least a series or two.
Yeah, I agree. I think I agree with that.
They went down on a bad note, unfortunately, and I didn't like that. And yes, they put a couple of players on the shelf, but with that being said, Tampa's, they're the division champions. They are under 500. It doesn't care if you're, like you said, Ray, 1-16 or whatever the hell it is.
Yeah, it's still the banner says 2022. But Pete, on that second drive, they put Hainsey out with a hammy, and the coaches are being just overly cautious because again, the game next week counts. This was literally a preseason game. The next week counts, whether it's Dallas or Philadelphia. But then Hainsey has a hammy. hopefully they're just being over precautious. But now if Ryan Jensen's not coming rock star and Hainsey now has a hammy going into, that's one of those things. And maybe Hainsey wasn't one of the first stringers you pull, but I don't know. They were ready to have tight end went in there. I'm sorry. Nick Leverett went in there, or they're ready to do that real fast. So again, it's just going into this game for me. I was not, and that's why you and I talked pregame, Peter, about how important this is. People are putting too much. No, today was all about just get right, which the offense had that drive. So there's confidence there. They kept them in too long, got some backup, some players, but at the end of the day, the final score does not count. The one thing that does count against the Buccaneers is that running back, I forgot his name now, he broke 1,000 yards for the season. So every time the Buccaneers play this divisional foe twice a year for the next 10 years, if Algier is their running back, then it's always going to be, remember it was in 2017 when the Buccaneers run and marched to a Super Bowl 57 victory, is when Algiers broke to 1,000 yards. So he'll have a little confidence there. That was the only real big loss the Buccaneers had in this game from where I stood, other than Hainsey.
The backups. Guys an update.
Yeah, go ahead. Give me an update.
And this is the point that the update I'm going to give you is actually driving this point even a little bit more. San Francisco's losing to the Arizona Cardinals right now. Nothing. Okay, Dallas just punted deep on their own end, but muffed the punt, and Washington's got the ball.
Wow.
The New York Giants in Philadelphia, they're 0-0, and the game's only 2 or 3 minutes in, but Philadelphia's driving, and they look like a shell of themselves. Partners are driving deep into Denver. There's another pick. The Rams, they're up 3-0 against Seattle, and that's another pick that the Greek gave out for you guys.
And Seattle gets Denver Broncos #1 overall pick, so they're picking like 2 in the first, and Broncos is a pretty high top 10, so they might be in great shape if they rebuild that team after this year as well.
Well, the Broncos pick goes to Seattle, and that's
right because they traded. Yeah, I'm sorry, Trav. You're right. I'm sorry.
That's all right. That's good stuff there by the Chicago connection. Mr. Travis Faley of Rocket Sports and Entertainment. Mr. Harry, the Greek professional.
Hey, Peter.
Yes, Tampa Bay.
Can I, Travis, you still there?
Travis
is still on.
Where did you go last week at the ReliQuest Bowl? Because we saw you right before the halftime was over on the sideline there, and then you just ghosted the rest of the day. I'm sure wherever you were capturing some great photographs. But where did you go? Peter and I were looking for you before we did our post-game show there on the field at Raymond James. He's not there.
He's not.
He's not there.
Thanks, Harry. That's why
I'm off there. We got Harry on with the three amigos here. Tell you what, let's go.
Washington took the lead, by the way, 7-0.
Oh, right, gritty.
Let's go out to Troy Polamalu. Trask will be okay. He has a degree from Florida. If you have a degree from Florida State, he would probably spend the rest of his life as a manager at McDonald's.
No, give him a Byron Leftwich.
I ain't Byron Leftwich in that at
all.
Come
on, man. FSU.
Florida State fan. You need to shut up.
Shut up.
Damn Gator
USF. And Gators. And
I'm telling you right now, Florida State is the team to beat next year. You guys laugh at me right now, but all the guys they have back and all
they got Kyle. Hey.
Kyle
Pete, the 2 tight ends. They got Kyle Morlock. Of course, he did a show. We was on with Chris Mathis, the producer of the of the Ronnie and T-Crash show. But they did talk to him Tuesday. Him and his brother Spencer. They interviewed Kyle Morlock. I believe it's Kyle Morlock, the tight end, 6'7" monster. They knew him from North Georgia. I mean, the tight ends alone make me like what Florida State's going to be doing next year, and then put some of that gritty defense with it. ACC, I like it. I like him in the ACC
Jared
this year.
Verse is also coming back, and Johnny Wilson is coming back. Tell you what, let's go out to the phone lines here. Let's go out to Ed really quick. Ed, you're on with yours truly, along with Harry, the Greek professional handicapper extraordinaire, and of course, best of the Bay, Tampa Bay Ray Kennedy. After your Buccaneers lose, what do you have to say, my friend?
I got really big. All 3 Florida pro football teams are in the playoffs.
Wait a minute now. Did the Miami Dolphins win that game against
9-6? Yes.
So the talk was that Mike McDaniel, the coach, if he didn't win this game, could possibly be fired. But you're exactly right. So congratulations to the state of Florida. Not only are your Bucs in the playoffs, but your Jacksonville Jaguars,
playoffs,
the Miami Dolphins. So
does that look like Florida? Does that look like Florida?
I don't know. What now?
What are the records for all 3 teams? I know the Bucs.
Oh, come on. Don't rain on a parade now.
Well, you got the Bucs that are 8-9. You got the Jaguars that are 9-8. And are the Dolphins also
9-8? I believe so, yes.
So who would have thought, right? With Tom Brady at the controls, that both Florida teams have a better record than the Bucs, but at the end of the day, Does it really matter? It does not, although a lot of people would say the first losing season for Tom Brady in a long time. 8-9 for your Tampa Bay
Doesn't matter though, Pete. Hey, Buccaneers are paying him $30 million plus the money we're taking pro rating if he didn't come back in 2022. He's a very well paid cat. It's pay for play, and he's paying. And I get it. Tom didn't get this, or should he have gone for that record? And again, I just want to reiterate, I'm sorry to be like a wet blanket, but I thought this was a great chance for Coach Todd Bowles to just show who's boss. Tom, I know you got a bazillion records. You hit Rudolph, you got the 50, you went one drive. It was a perfect drive. Now sit your ass down. We're rotating in. And again, I'm not sure whose idea it was to go, but man, next week against whether it be Dallas or Philadelphia, I hope Coach Leftwich is making all the calls, and it's going to be a defensive-minded game. But I want to make sure this team's playing not to so much make the GOAT happy, but to make sure this team has that success that a conservative coach or defensive-minded coach like Byron Leftwich would ultimately always call in other situations.
Ed, what else?
Sorry, Ed.
All right.
It's okay. It's okay. I totally agree with what Ray's saying. But it's just a good year for Florida, and I forgot to say last time I called. That's why I wanted to call back in.
All right.
Sorry, brother.
A lot of people are saying crap about the Bucs on Facebook, and I'm like, hey, it was a meaningless game. Nobody cares.
Right.
Say what you want.
Well, let them have it. Let them have it. They'll be sitting on the couch next weekend, and the Bucs will be in the playoffs, and we'll be talking about it on the Evolution of Sports
Playoffs
Division. Ed, thanks a lot for the call. Appreciate you as always, my friend. All right.
Hey, Ed. Take care, Ed.
See you, Ed. Have a good one, buddy.
Good
Poor
stuff.
Ed.
Here.
Poor Ed
All
just-
right.
Yeah.
Ed calls in and wanted to give us an update. Appreciate
That's awesome. I didn't know that.
I
And we
didn't
talk
know it
about that. Call it the Sunshine Series of all three Florida teams. Sorry, Harry.
Right. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers have a lesser record than the other two Florida teams, but I will like to tell everybody that this team, if they lined them up against Jacksonville, would beat them by 5.
Jacksonville, the Bucs would,
would beat them by 5, and if they lined up against Miami, they would beat them by no less than 2 touchdowns, because Miami couldn't stop anybody, and they got nobody to throw the ball.
Well, they got nobody to throw the ball to their wide receivers unless Tua is healthy.
Oh, wouldn't that be a great dramatic narrative?
But the problem is the offensive line can't block anybody right now. They've been definitely hurt by the injury situation. Let's go out to Roger Shue. Bears have the number 1 overall pick in the draft for you.
Roger Shue.
Acknowledge me.
And then I will do this.
This guy sucks.
He does.
You know I'm right. Hey, Peter, what's going on, buddy? Roger Shue, great loss to the Buccaneers. Appreciate you, as always, being negative.
This guy sucks.
Typical Houston, they screwed up and won, so they lost the first-round pick to the Bears. Laugh out loud. Eric says, it's okay, we lost today. Roger, again, no victory Monday for you. Go, boys. America's team, and this is what you get.
Shut up!
Misador says, Kyle Trask. Yeah, baby. We all know that Misador is the biggest fan of Kyle Trask. In fact,
Yeah,
I'm
he
going
is.
to open up the phone line for you, my friend. 727-255-0391. It's 727-409-7528. So 2 numbers now. If you can't get in on the first line, you can get in on that line right there. I want to hear from you. I know. What do we see from Trask today? I mean, not much, right? Not much positive here. Tampa Bay Ray Kennedy and Harry.
They had their first string secondary still in against our third string receivers, our third string quarterback, and an offensive line. So he was. But one thing you definitely saw, Kyle, today is that the speed of the game when the bullets are real, and this was the first time he's seen it now in his second year with the Bucs. He was thinking, and maybe that's part of the process that he's learning from Tom. I don't know. You guys ever heard about this, but there's another quarterback on the Buccaneers roster that gets rid of the ball in the average 2.5 seconds. Those balls where Kyle Trask threw at the feet, my first instinct was I wanted to see a big completion. I wanted to see the kid showing what he showed me in Miami in the preseason in week 3 of the preseason. But I saw that the game was still fast for him. But you know what I saw today that's most important? I saw that he got some tape of how fast the game was for him, and he can improve on that. He's coming into a third year of a second round pick, which means you got to exercise the option by the 4th year. The Bucs have to decide by March if they're exercising that option. You got to get some tape on this kid, and then let the guys in the room make the decision.
Well, he was a second round pick last year. Finally got some action in his second year, so we'll see how the third year works out. We'll see the progression. If he's in the Bucs plans, if he can even overcome Blaine Gabbert. But at the end of the day, the most important storyline would be if Tom Brady's going to come back or not. Kyle Trask today, you're a Gator fan. What did you see out of him? Not much, right, Harry?
No, I didn't really see too much out of him, but then again, it's not really fair comparison. Ray stole all my thunder when he was talking about why and then giving the scenarios. But as far as Kyle Trask is concerned and Misador, you can let Misador, because I know he's watching the show. I've already got a signed autographed jersey from him because I'm going to mail it. I just need the autograph. I just need that.
Flawless victory.
Well, yeah, that's what we got to do here. I mean, it's past Christmas. It's past Thanksgiving. Got to give him something. You give him a Kyle Trask signed jersey, and I guarantee you he'll probably burn it when he sees it.
I'm going to keep my TB12 signed autograph jersey, and I'm going to send him the Kyle Trask jersey.
Right,
what about wait, Harry, where's the Josh Rosen signed jersey?
Rosen. Are you excited? I'm excited.
I'm excited.
What'd you have for dinner?
I already sent that to Rick Hughes, the Josh Rosen.
Oh, there you go. All right, Dallas will run all over the Bucs if Vea and Nix don't play.
Hicks played the game. Hicks played. That was the Buccaneer. That was the biggest positive today. That when Hicks got bossed back in that backfield and asserted his aggression, hands down, Ryan had a great field goal. Camarda had some bombs that took a bad bounce into the end zone, but still would have been on average great punts. A lot of positives take away from this loss to the Falcons that put them at 8-9, but 9-8, but they're still the number 4 overall seed anyway next week again. So, but that was one of the positives of Akeem Hicks. No, right, Harry? You saw when he boomed on that play.
Yeah, he's standing up and nearly jerks the head off of Desmond Ridder with his first sack of the season. And Hicks, when he's healthy, and again, when Vea's healthy, this running defense is different, which is why I think they could absolutely match up versus the Cowboys and also the Philadelphia Eagles, but more so the Cowboys. Hicks, I know you've been a big fan of him coming from Chicago. The main point was, Harry, could he stay healthy? He hasn't been able to stay healthy, but when he does, this defense is definitely different, and it looks like Vea and Hicks will be healthy for next week.
Well, they're going to be healthy at the right time. It's called going into the playoffs. And that's why
playoffs.
They're really going to stifle the run. And I'm telling you right now, if you take the forward motion and they end up going to, not forward motion, my apologies, gentlemen, I don't feel very well. No. If you take the center of the line away from the Philadelphia Eagles and you get pressure up in number one's face, it now puts it right into the Buccaneers' hands, especially with the speed on their outside linebackers and their safeties.
Hey, Harry, and I know I've seen you today. I know you're not feeling well, but you were actually right. That forward motion also works too, because you're talking about stopping that forward motion or that progression of that run as they matriculate down the field. That's all I got.
Good stuff.
That's all I got.
How many balls are there, Ray? Because you kept talking about balls. I mean,
2 balls per unit.
You know what? Let's go out to the phone lines. Let's go out to the tribal troll here. Let's go out to Mr. Roger along with Harry the Greek, professional handicapper extraordinaire. Roger, welcome to the Evolution. You're on with yours truly along with Tampa Bay Ray Kennedy, best of the Bay, and of course Harry the Greek, professional handicapper extraordinaire of 1252 Chicago Sports. How you feeling, my friend?
I'm good, brother. Number 1 overall pick. We're loving it.
Okay.
All right, a little off topic.
Wait, time out now, Roger. You got the number 1 pick. Who are you guys picking? If nobody traded with the Bill, I got to ask you because you guys know the Bears. You don't have to give me a name even. But if the Bears did retain that number 1 overall pick, you can get the biggest, baddest, most vicious football guy stud in the country. What position did the Bears address with that number 1 if they didn't find a trade out, which we all think they probably will?
You don't want
I would have to go. Huh?
You don't want to ask me that question.
You're next, Harry.
We'll ask you that question after Roger. Roger, who do you want?
I would have to go with offensive line.
Oh,
offensive line. All right, so that's
keep Justin safe.
True. There's some questions about Tavon Jenkins and that young offensive line, which again, you can't go wrong with getting an offensive lineman, Harry the Greek, because you're going to protect Justin Fields. Of course, Fields has dealt with his fair share of injuries, whether it's line or whether also he's putting himself in harm's way at the end of the day because of his running style, because of his style and what the Bears are calling at the end of the – yes.
He had 1,000 yards rushing because he was running for his life.
Well, because he's athletic and also because this offensive staff is putting him in the position not only to succeed but at some points fail. So you got to get some weapons around him, and you also got to build that offensive lineup. Is Roger on the right accord here? Harry the Greek with drafting an offensive lineman. Is that where you're going?
Actually, I'm going to go the other way.
Come.
Chicago's not.
That's what she said.
They're going to change. They're going to change it. long story short, they're going to go ahead and address the defense. I don't project them taking an offensive lineman in the first 2 rounds. I think they're going to have multiple first-round picks.
Is that because you're a defensive-minded coach, right? The coach.
I think they'll get rid of. I think they're going to trade with Seattle. That's just my opinion.
Okay.
And
I agree.
They're going to address their offense with the cap space that they have. Okay, that's where they're going to address the offense. They will build this defense through the draft, but the offense, they're going to buy their players.
Harry, what if the Seattle Seahawks or what if the Denver Broncos called the Seattle Seahawks and said, you guys are solid, but we're going to give you our 2 number 1 picks in 2024 and 2025 if we can get our first-round pick back this week to fortify this team, a Seattle Seahawks team that probably wants to turn that into collateral to trade up. But there's a lot of things that go into play. I mean, we're not even for the playoffs.
I know where you're seeing this at. This is not draft day with Kevin Costner, okay? They're not doing anything like
Come
that.
on. Well, if we're talking.
If they're going to give up thank you. And if they're going to give up picks, Kevin Costner's great in sports movies.
Yeah, he is.
I've watched Bull Durham, Field of Dreams, my favorite, Tin
Cup.
And then, of course, you got draft day there. With that being said, going back to it, they may have to give up some picks for Sean Payton because the Broncos are asked for permission by the Saints here, and Ray's gone off there, so we'll get back to him in a moment. But they've asked permission for Sean Payton. Of course, it was talked about Payton going down to Miami, but now that looks like that's not going to happen. So I think the Indianapolis Colts guys are the team to look at. And I was talking to Travis Feely of Rocket Sports and Entertainment off the air, possibly trading down. Roger, where do you stand on this? Do you want to trade down? Do you want to stay put? What do you want to do with the draft pick?
I would trade down.
Okay. All right, trade down. Okay.
All right, off topic, real quick.
Yes.
The NBA announced today that the NBA MVP trophy will now be known as the Michael Jordan Trophy.
Yeah, that was a week ago, my friend. And also, Bernie Kosar has been he's been taken out of the Browns radio pregame because he was caught gambling on sports. So we will follow this story. They will follow this story here as once again.
That's retarded. He's an announcer.
Well,
he's not a player.
Again, this is what the Browns and their organization has done. So we'll keep abreast of that situation.
That's
but
stupid.
He was not a part of it. So, and that's the reason why. Here, I got to get Roger. Anything else, my friend?
That's it, brother. Great show, guys. And we're enjoying that number 1 pick, baby.
All right, man. Live it up. Appreciate you as always. Here, I got to ask you. This report comes out from ESPN. Bernie Kosar was not on the pregame show today for the Cleveland Browns. Caught gambling on sports. Your thoughts on this? Because we talk about it all the time. When you open up Pandora's box, which is what the National Football League has done, when not only you put a team in Las Vegas, but also you're opening up to different organizations, this and that and the other thing. Of course, the Browns, they have their own sponsorship with gambling, which I believe Jake Paul runs that and is associated with that. Your thoughts on this whole situation with Bernie Kosar? Is it fair?
Yeah, it's not fair what's going to happen to him, but if you think this is the first time that he's gambled on sports in his career, you're highly mistaken. Just read between the lines in what I'm trying to say, and it's very reliable, this information that I'm giving you. It's not going to bode well for him. I knew about this. It's been a while now. There were certain athletes I used to hang around with back in the 90s that would actually talk about it openly.
Nice.
There's more. There's going to be more that's going to get uncovered.
Well, yeah, and again, that's the reason why you don't necessarily open up gambling. But again, I get it. There's fantasy football. There's DraftKings. There's this. There's that. And the other thing, right?
But Peter, the NFL is going to bury that under the rug because there's billions of dollars that need to be made. They're going to make an example out of somebody, and they're going to shut them down, and that's going to be it. You and I have talked about it from before. I'm an advocate for gambling.
Sure.
I'm not an advocate for having casinos not casinos, but sportsbook in these venues, whether they're hockey, basketball, baseball, or even football. It has no business at all being in these venues at all.
I know I know you're not feeling the best, so thanks a lot for your time. Go ahead and give me an update, and we'll get you out of here on that.
Chargers in Denver 7-all, Rams in Seattle 3-all. San Francisco took the lead with 6 minutes to go in the first quarter, 7-6. Washington winning 7-0 in the first.
Wow.
And Philadelphia is now winning 10-0 with 4 minutes remaining.
So, and you watch that situation because if Philly wins, they'll win the NFC East. They'll get the number 1 overall seed. Of course, if Dallas wins and Philly loses, then Dallas, I believe, would get the number 1 overall seed, and the Bucs would play the Eagles, correct?
That is correct, Pete.
All
That
right.
is correct. Thanks for having me on, bud. I'm sorry I couldn't come on. I don't look the best right now.
Hey,
I'm
man,
not feeling so-
hang in there, get better, and we'll get you on the evolution of Sports Talk Television. Enjoy that national championship game really quick. I don't know if we're going to be on tomorrow night because I want to watch that game, but what's your pick? Georgia by how much?
Just lay the wood. I think Georgia's favored by 12. They're going to win this game by 25 or 30.
All right. Good stuff, my friend. Harry the Greek, professional handicapper extraordinaire. Thanks a lot for your time here on the evolution of Sports Talk Television. All right, my friend?
We love you, brother. Go Bucs.
Go Bucs. Yes, absolutely. Go Bucs. Even though they lose today, doesn't really matter. I mean, you're in the playoffs. The new season is starting up. We keep on saying it over and over again. I don't want to be a broken record, but it starts next week. Who's the opponent? Is it the Dallas Cowboys? Is it the Philadelphia Eagles? If you're a Bucs fan, who do you want? After the performance today, take out the second half, the first half. Do you still feel confident in this team? 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391 and also 727-409-7528. Multiple phone lines. If you can't get through, we'll definitely try to get you on the evolution of Sports Talk Television. After the Tampa Bay Buccaneers fall to 8-9, they lose to the Atlanta Falcons 30-17. We'll get Tampa Bay Ray Kennedy on right now. There he is.
No, wait, hold on, Peter. Tell him what you you got the new line, so we can take multiple calls. The producer's out right now.
Yes,
but tell
the
him what.
producer's out. Well, the producer is me, by the way. But again,
bury the lead.
Right. I mean, we've had all these complaints. Well, I can't get in. I can't get in.
There you go.
Well, there's a phone line for you to get into.
Brother.
727-409-7528. Yes, Ray.
We had a conversation with Travis Bailey and Harry the Greek same time. That's a whole new. That's like the 4D. That's like Matrix. But the thing is, tell him what you did today with that number to me. Tell him the joke you played on me with your burner phone today.
Well, I called him and acted like somebody different that he didn't know, and he had no idea who it was because the number is unlisted. So if I do call you and you do troll me like you always do here on the Evolution, who knows? I may call you with that number, and you most likely won't recognize it here. Again, open phone line 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. Also 727-409-7528. Again, 727-409-7528. Let's go out. Dallas will run all over the Bucs if Vea and Knicks don't play. But once again, me, Isidore, it looks like both of those guys are going to be healthy, which is great news because we've seen it throughout the year. And we talked about this versus the Carolina game. And this is the reason why the Bucs beat the Carolina Panthers. They made them one-dimensional. I don't know what happened to Tampa Bay Ray there. I guess he had a blackout. There he is right there. They're a different defense, holding teams to 89 yards a game when it comes to rushing. Without both of them, it's 120 yards. It's totally different.
Well, the Dallas Cowboys, the Bucs we have scoreboard on them over the last two seasons, right? Last year's season opener on Thursday night here in Raymond James, and then this week's Sunday night opener there in Dallas, winning both of them. And both games, Dak coming off the injury 2 years ago, still underperformed, but you always got CeeDee Lamb, the tight ends, that offensive line they're known for, that Quinn defense that was going to bring the Legion of Boom to Dallas. But so, I mean, it's like there's ways that this team can definitely give the Bucs a real hard time and come out on top. But the Buccaneers team that showed up in 2020 and 2021, except for they give a 24-point buffer to the Rams before they get serious. But that team needs to show up because if you get behind it all, because we saw it today. The Bucs get that 7 points. They get up 7 points, and what happens? Lovie Smith's defense goes out there and shuts them down immediately because you give this Buccaneers defense, Hakeem Hicks blows it up. You give Todd Bowles, Lovie Smith. Jesus. Okay. You give Todd Bowles and this defense, you give them a 3.7-point lead. You can pin your ears back, but make no bones about it. You give Dallas that same 3 or 7 point lead, it could also get ugly the other way.
Well, and then the Bucs have an opportunity to take a commanding lead here. They have to settle for a field goal because Roberts. Now I'm doing it. Luke Gedeke, who is playing right tackle at the time because Tristan Wirfs is out, just resting at the end of the day. He picks up a stupid holding penalty. It's been technique all year long with this kid. There's no reason for him to have to hold. All he has to basically do is just getting in the way because it looks like Keyshawn Vaughn has the first down. Unfortunately, you get the holding call and you settle for the Ryan Suckup 41-yard field goal. Those are the type of mistakes that the Bucs have to alleviate when it comes to playoff time. Playoffs, you're not going to beat anybody if you continue to commit those critical penalties and you turn over the ball. Once again, this Bucs offensive line a victim of it today.
Peter, you didn't give him the Bob Barker Gadecki on that play.
Oh, yeah.
You're right. Give it to him. No.
Oh, this one.
The Happy Gilmore Bob Barker.
I mean, it's been all, and I get it. He's a
Did
rookie.
not need that. Did not need that block to
Did
get
not
that success. Young, mistake. These guys sometimes over trying, and Donovan Smith's going to get called for holding even if he just breathes on a guy because that's his MO going into the playoffs. So hopefully the Bucs can overcome that. But yeah, that penalty right there. Young guy, first year, Notre Dame kid, center. Is he guard? Is he here? Is he there? But at the same time, that was a big play. That was a big penalty. But again, he's in the game getting those plays because you got your backups. You're rotating on the O-line, or other starters are probably resting. You would think if Tristan Wirfs would have went today, Donovan Smith probably would have went today if it was a playoff game, if it was next week at Raymond James Stadium. So they make these mistakes, but it puts more 53 in a room. Jason Light's already made the decision. These guys could all be successfully contributing to this team. Now you give them the film, you give them the in-game experience. So now when they go into the playoffs, they're a little more battle tested. That's all I've been saying. Playoffs.
It's never going to get old, is it?
It never is.
Never is. All right. So let's welcome home Sean McVay. He's not coming home. He's going to the we'll see if he's going to be the coach of the Rams because there's a lot of talk. Adam Schefter, I think, reported today him coaching the Rams is in limbo. We heard about that once he won the Super Bowl last year, and then he decided to come back. So we'll see how that works out. I think Hansey plays center and Jensen plays guard. That has been talked about. Laugh out loud. Cowgirls, botched punt. Misador, Bucs play Philly. That matchup is better. I mean, do you agree with Misador on that?
100%.
Philly, Jalen Hurts, if
100%.
If he's healthy, that to me is a tough matchup more than the Dallas Cowboys.
Well, number one,
I would rather have the Cowboys.
And number one and number two, I stepped in number two, but
number three.
But we knocked Philly out last year, the first round of the playoffs. And you think about Jalen Hurts, but even if it's the narrative of Gerald McCoy as the 18th string defensive tackle, he comes back into Tampa, he gets that success. He's so no. The Buccaneers just take care of business. They stomp on an opponent, same as they bounced Philly out in the first week of last season's playoffs with a Jalen Hurts who, it doesn't get old. But if a Jalen Hurts, even if he's injured and he plays gritty, but I mean, I'll take that narrative matchup. And then if the Dallas one does happen in the divisional round or the championship game, all right, let's get it on. But me's right. I think we match up better against the Eagles.
And I think Philly's going to be tough. Defensively, overall, I definitely think they're the number one team in the National Football League. Defensively, of course, two of the best corners in the league. They can't stop the run. They've got Sue there. It's helped out. That would be the weakness at the end of the day. And then again, A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith. That's a tough matchup. I'm sorry. And Dallas Goedert, tough matchup. But
that Philly offensive line, right?
Yeah.
And that running game with those
good,
wide receivers.
Lane Johnson's hurt, and they're hurt at the wrong time. Lane Johnson's out. He's hurt. Definitely a different team at the end of the day. Josh Sweat, he's hurt. One of their leading pass rushers. So it's a good thing that, the Bucs they may be getting the Eagles at the right time. Again, this is if the Eagles lose and the Cowboys win. Then the Cowboys would take the number one seed and the Eagles would play the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Can I address that comment on screen from Steven right there? Steven says Kyle Trask didn't look that good. Rudder looked better. Those Trask had two seasons to learn. Again, they're playing in Atlanta against a team who was playing their playoffs today. When win or lose, there was nothing beyond playoffs. I'm gonna stop. There was nothing beyond today. They still had their first and second strings in against our third and seconds. They still had their seconds and thirds in against our third and practice squad players. And when they had their third players in, we actually had some Bucs fans coming off the sideline and play. So, you start to look at Kyle Trask, he throws that one pass out. And if that first string defensive back doesn't make that catch to Tompkins gets, I'd like to go to bed at night, put my head on a pillow, thinking Tompkins would have went up and made that catch, got the momentum going down the field. And you guys know, well, Harry, Harry's off the phone. Mo's a friend. You get Mo on your side and you can have some success.
Yeah, and I understand his point. And again, Ritter has gotten that playing time, but you're exactly right. Ritter looked better. He's gotten more playing time. He's gotten more reps. Kyle Trask hasn't been able to beat out Blaine Gabbert. So, again, I'm not ready to give up on him, but we'll see how this plays out. Because if the Bucs lose Brady, could they go with the Blaine Gabbert or Kyle Trask and then hope for the number one overall pick to get a Caleb Williams? That's certainly is being talked about. And Rick mentions this from Newport Richie, Rick Danford, who calls the show. Everybody says Belichick and Brady was all Belichick. Ever since Brady has left the New England Patriots, the Patriots haven't been able to make the playoffs because once again, they're out.
This guy sucks.
Because they lose to the Buffalo Bills today. Let's go out to Misador. Keep chomping. Steve says, hell yeah, need to visit soon. Absolutely. I got your keep chomping.
This guy sucks.
Let's go out to me. He did show who's boss. Ray, Troy Polamalu. According to my insiders, the National Rig League is trying to push the Bills to the Super Bowl.
This guy sucks.
Roger Shoe says, Pete, I told you before the season the Bucs would be 8-9. I was right. Acknowledge me.
Oh.
I'll
Acknowledge me.
I'll give him. Hey, Pete. I'll give him
yes.
that.
Yes.
That was that. I would say overall, all the shows we're on, the people we interview, the people we talk to, 8-9 there was a lot of people who were thinking that. Man, this is almost as many people saying 9-8, but there wasn't really any 10-6s, 11-5s, 12-4s, or what have you, or 13-4s. But there was a lot of 8-9, so I'll give them that. I remember that was one of the big predictions for this team. They didn't know what was going to go on. That was before Tom Brady came back. Then Tom Brady came back, and it was like, oh, yo, we got the Super Bowl, we're good.
Yeah, we got the Super Bowl. You're going to win at least 11 or 12 games, 10 at the least, and you shouldn't lose to the Pittsburgh Steelers, which, by the way, at the time, and it looks like, did they win their game? Because if they won their game, I believe they would be in.
And knock the Dolphins out.
Well, would it knock the Dolphins out? Well, the Dolphins were rumored to be.
Oh, the Dolphins had to lose for the Steelers to have a chance, I believe.
Well, then the Steelers are out. I don't know all the playoff scenarios at the
playoffs.
We'll get those playoff scenarios at the end of the day here on the Evolution. I'm your host, Peter Blake, along with Tampa Bay Ray Kennedy, best of the Bay. You're exactly right. But you could have beat the Pittsburgh Steelers. You could have beat the Carolina Panthers. You weren't able to do that. You should have beat the Cleveland Browns. You weren't able to do that. That's 3 wins right there. So you would have been wrong. But it is what it is. The Bucs finished off with the losing season, but in the playoffs because they won the NFC South. Sad to say, Steelers came up short. Mediocre Mike Tomlin had another winning regular season, 2 years left on the contract. Will never win another Super Bowl or get to the Super Bowl. Ralph, I get it. You're not liking Mike Tomlin and hoping that Mike Tomlin would step away, but Tomlin's been one of the best coaches in the league. Gets the most, and getting that young rookie quarterback to play, I think they found a quarterback. It was going to be a down season. Give credit to where credit is due. Even though Tomlin and the Steelers are not going to make the playoffs, he's getting the most out of his players at the end of the day. Agree with that, Ray?
Yeah, and I think the same. I'll be honest, a real quick short answer here. I believe that 95% of the people that would say get rid of Mike Tomlin after the career he's had so far, probably the same exact people that are number one in saying get rid of Todd Bowles after this season. Step back and think about it. Dance with, like I said earlier, the devil, and we know what we got with Todd Bowles, a great defense, and Tom Brady and Byron Leftwich and Bruce Arians or whoever's calling the offense, because defensive-minded coaches don't go for it on 4th and 1. They punt it when their defense is doing great last week. There's been a lot of decisions this year that I guarantee you, I would bet my career, and it's not much of one, on the fact that Todd Bowles would not have made these calls. Todd Bowles would have had Tom Brady out of the first drive if he even let him rest. There's a lot of stuff going on between this team where will you take care of the defensive side? And no, Todd Bowles is either the guy or he's not the guy. And I want to see him. We got to see next week. I hope there's a controversial or call that comes in and Todd Bowles just steps right up and shows people, I'm the head guy in charge. You got that right. Brady's the GOAT, but I'm the guy.
Let's go out to the phone lines. Curtis from Newport Richie, welcome to the Evolution. You're on with yours truly, along with Tampa Bay Ray Kennedy, best of the Bay after your Bucs lose to the Atlanta Falcons to fall to 8-9. I got to ask you this question really quick, Curtis. Do you still feel confident in this Tampa Bay Buccaneer team that they can go on the playoffs and win some games? Playoffs! Go ahead.
Playoffs.
Absolutely. Because listen, you know what? I'm gonna tell you something. We didn't look bad when our starters were in there.
Correct.
They looked more confident than they've looked all season. I have to say that. I mean, do things happen? Absolutely.
Sure.
But for Falcons fans, 'cause I got a guy that's a Falcons fan, you're really happy about that win?
I mean, yeah. I mean, and
let them have their due. Let them have their due. Remember, hey, at the end of the day, scoreboard, whether it's our third, and I know he's probably going to agree with me, but whether it's our 4 stringers and practice squad players against let them have their due, because it's still the dirty South, right? We've got now still a 2-game lead on the Falcons in the all-time series. I believe it's either 29-27 or 30-28. I might be wrong on that, but I did sleep at a Holiday Inn last night. So give them their due, because it comes back, right, bro? But at the same time, let him know we're the ones playing. We're the ones playing next week, not the Dirty Birds. Right, Curtis?
Well, I will. Absolutely. What I will say is, I like that kid Ritter. I do like him.
Yeah.
No, he's got lots of potential. I mean,
And
he's
Drake London.
Yes.
Him and that running back. What was that kid's name?
Tyler Algier, who went over 1,000 yards in his rookie season. That was the big time story. Over 100 yards rushing by the Bucs defense, not able to stop him, especially that second half when
there was linebackers.
Yeah,
there was linebackers in there that I didn't even know were on our practice squad. So, it's like, okay, they got off in their house, Megatron's butthole. Good for them. But we're playing next week, though, right?
Drives, and the Bucs defense is not able to get a stop. 3 long drives there of 80-plus yards, so unacceptable. But once again, mostly against backups for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
I was going to say, didn't I see Peter playing corner or something out there?
Yeah, I was playing corner. Ray was playing defensive end.
I'm the tight end.
Yeah, I bet you are.
Hey, was it me or Donovan Smith at left tackle today? I mean,
it didn't look any different, did it? I mean, Brandon Walton, the guy from the Waltons. It could have been the old man from the Waltons.
Curtis, can I ask Curtis? Curtis, can I ask you a question real quick?
Yes,
of course, anytime.
You go back and think about the Buccaneers in preseason, the third preseason game of the year, when you've got limited time on those starters. And today, again, let me just ask you because this will tell you where you fall, brother. I'm going to judge you on it. I'm kidding. But when the Buccaneers had that perfect first drive, literally got the kickoff and drove it 75 yards and scored a touchdown, isn't there part of you maybe at that moment that was thinking, get those starters off? Or were you still thinking that we're going to, we're just going to leave them in there? And I have a problem either way. I'm just wondering where you fall on that.
Well, he's talking about the 10-play, 70-yard drive where Brady goes 4 for 5, 38 yards. And, of course, the greatness of Kyle Rudolph with his 50th career touchdown.
That was great.
That was great. I mean, he's been a man on the milk carton. Maybe you can involve him more in this offense at the end of the day, but that was a great start.
I look at it as a confidence booster for the whole team.
Sure.
Yes.
I mean, I think they're going to go into play. I think they're going to go into practice this week. They're going to hit it hard. And I'm going to tell you something. And I was just in Walgreens because my whole family is sick. My daughter and my wife are sick right now.
Oh, brother, sorry.
Sorry to hear that.
No, it's just coughing.
Emergency. Take the vitamin C packets. That will help.
It's going around, that's for sure. Yeah.
That's what she said.
That flu, all that, whatever. But anyway, so I'm in Walgreens and there's like a group of guys in there, and it's like 5 of us, 6 of us in there. Where we would just break out arguing about football.
Oh, I love that.
It's great. It's good times. It's good times. It's arguing, it's debating, it's doing what we do here on the Sports Web. Bring your passion, bring your excitement. Just don't bring any nonsense. Yes.
I'm not afraid of anybody in the NFC.
Okay.
Except for maybe San Fran, and I'm going
at San Fran. Oof, yeah.
The only reason I'm afraid of San Fran, but I'm not terrified of San Fran, is because that kid is due a bad game.
Well, it's true. Brock Purdy. Unless they go back to Jimmy Garoppolo, which is certainly a possibility at the end of the day. But they have that running game with Christian McCaffrey, who's healthy. They do have that defense with Nick Bosa, who definitely showed up. So, yes, they're going to be tough. But, again, anybody in the NFC can be beat if you play your best game. The problem is we haven't seen that from this Bucs team consistently this year.
Did Seattle win?
They're playing.
Well,
they're playing against the Rams right now.
Seattle win was probably the best win.
Hey,
but
Pete,
even you had some, yes.
I'm going to give you my prediction right now.
All right, give me the prediction.
If anybody beats San Fran, it will be Green Bay.
Oh.
And I know Green Bay. I know
Mike Holmgren, 49ers, Packers.
Green Bay's kryptonite. But let me tell you, they have to run the ball.
But Curtis, let me take you back to Dwight Clark and the catch in the late 80s and early 90s when San Fran was beating Dallas, and then Dallas gets Dion to go along with everything they had, and they end up taking it from the 49ers. There's some historical stuff there too. That could be a gritty series here as we look to see who will play the Bucs in the NFC Championship game.
Listen, I'm going to tell you something. Dallas or Philly, I think we're going to wipe the floor with. I think we're going to surprise them. I really do.
Okay.
I think we're going to surprise them.
All right. I like that prediction. I like that optimism.
I'm going to tell you something.
Yes.
One thing that nobody looked at is Godwin came off an ACL injury. He looked terrible at the beginning of the season.
Correct.
he ended up with over 1,000 yards and 100 catches.
And it's amazing in itself. We didn't get a chance to talk about that. But here's right.
A sneaky 1,000 yards and a sneaky 100 catches.
How do you like that? How you like me now? And also Russell Gage's big touchdown catch today. All of a sudden, you're like 3 weeks ago, was he still on the team? And some people were still passing that joke off, although I'll say it's a little old at this point because he's been showing up, but he gets that touchdown catch. Tom gets his timing down with Evans and Godwin and Julio and Gage. I mean, look out, NFL playoffs.
And Rudolph and Otten. And where's
what now?
Sorry.
Where's
Brait? Where's Brait at?
I think Brait was
he played with Trask. So,
he's sitting today and he didn't get a lot of time, and maybe they should shift their focus to Otten and Rudolph. Who knows?
Here's the thing about Brait. What they forgot about it, Brait is a great red zone tight end.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Pretty good.
Great.
Pretty good.
But what if the Buccaneers reserve play of Cameron Brait down the end of the season is Cade Otten, Keefe, and Kyle Rudolph, of course, who you bring in as a free agent this year to try to make up for that stopgap or that that separation without Rob Gronkowski here, which, by the way, he's still out there. I'm just saying. But the fact of the matter is, what if the playoffs? What if I didn't even say playoffs, you jerk? What if the way the Buccaneers are handling Cam Brait is what you're seeing a reflection of in the future? A guy that was a free agent, walk-on from Harvard, who actually is very intelligent. Maybe they decide after the concussion protocol for 4 weeks that we're going to still use you. We're going to keep you, in here. We'll use you when we need to, but we got to get these young guys some playing time too. I mean, that could be the way you'll see the NFL playing in the future for guys that actually do care about the number of concussions toward chronic traumatic encephalopathy.
I'm going with the long shot here. I'm going to tell you.
It's probably just he sucks.
This will probably be the greatest season of Brady's career if he wins the Super Bowl this year.
Oh yeah. Statistically, again, a touchdown to interception ratio not the best. Of course wins, but this would be amazing in itself. Yes, with this team.
Remember the group of guys I was telling you guys about in Walgreens?
Yes.
I was telling those guys. I said because there was one guy he was a Bengals fan. There was one guy he was a Vikings fan.
There's always one. There's always one.
Yep.
Yeah. So listen, the Dallas fan, he's like, listen, I have no confidence in this team. We always have a good regular season. In the playoffs, Dak holds under pressure.
Playoffs.
Yeah. The Bengals. Is Joe Burrow going to go on a hot streak again? If he's not, then they're going to lose.
Well, I tell you right now, the way this team has been playing lately, the Bengals, I think it's a shame because I do think they would have beaten the Bills the other night, and they would definitely had some type of interest in being the number one seed. I think there was certainly a possibility. Of course, Kansas City now is the number one seed. Buffalo wins today. Cincinnati, the last check, they were winning. We'll get those scores updated. Cincinnati won, and they were making fun of that coin flip that the possibility if it happens in the AFC Championship game.
Yeah.
So we'll see how that goes.
My point to all of them was
yes.
We were all over 30, some of us in our 40s.
Sure.
We've been watching football for a long time.
We have.
Long time.
With much less.
Mm-hmm.
Much less.
Oh, right? Yeah. Drop some knowledge.
We've also seen Brady win with he was not the favorite to go in to the playoffs.
Playoffs?
Plenty of times we've seen this team. I will remember the 15-1 Steelers.
Right.
Nobody expected them to go into Pittsburgh and win. Yes,
correct. Well, you sounds like you're busy.
Curtis always got his daughter coming in there. Curtis, how's your daughter doing, brother?
How's she doing?
What it is mommy's really sick.
Oh, that's right. Yes, brother.
Can you say go Bucs?
Go Bucs.
There you go.
I like that.
That's the show.
All right,
that's right there.
Curtis, thanks a lot for the call. Appreciate you. Use that second call if you want to. By the way, we got a new number now, my friend. If you can't get into the original number, 727-409-7528 to give you guys more phone lines at the end of the day.
Text me that number later.
We'll do
brother. Yeah.
We'll do.
I'll call you guys back.
All right, Curtis. Thanks a lot for the call. Appreciate you. Let me give it the Macho Man.
Yeah.
Let's go out to Steve from San Antonio. Steve, you're on the Evolution of Sports Talk Television after your Tampa Bay Buccaneers fall to the Atlanta Falcons to go to 8-9, but they're in the playoffs. Your thoughts? You're on with your
playoffs.
On with playoffs. Tampa Bay Ray Kennedy, best of the Bay.
Hey, what's going?
What's going on, buddy? How you doing?
Texas, man. How you doing?
Doing good.
Sober January is feeling pretty good.
Yes, absolutely. I think we're all feeling pretty good. Are you feeling good? Are you feeling confident with this Tampa Bay Buccaneer team the last couple of weeks here from what you saw? I mean, I get it. The second half was dreadful because you have your backups in at the end of the day. You're not doing anything. You have your backup quarterback in. You have your backup offense. You have your backup defense. But the first half, did that give you enough confidence going into the playoffs? Playoffs. Either versus the Cowboys or the Eagles.
Man, you guys were playoffs, but yeah. So first, I want
playoffs.
Trash is the spell checker on my phone, but yeah, you know what it does because Mike didn't play today, right?
Mike Evans did not play today. He was a late scratch. He had an illness, and I don't think he needed to play. I mean, he showed enough. Right.
I don't either, but I think they obviously would have looked a whole lot better than they did on that first drive.
Yeah.
Agree. And they still went 10 plays.
They look good. That was the perfect first drive. That was the best. Right. In fact, I'll go as far as to say, I bet if we put up every play against every play, that was probably the best first drive. Getting the kickoff, starting the game, total weather. We get it. Right. Best opening drive the Buccaneers have had in 2022. Good time to have it because, playoffs are next week.
Wow.
That we talk about.
Sorry, man.
Like the most flag left tackle, right? But I don't know. I might be wrong, but last year he wasn't. And then the year we won the Super Bowl, he wasn't either. Yeah, all these other guys in there. There's a lot of injuries. If Tristan comes back and then Ryan Jensen, I think some of those flags on Donovan Smith go down because it's like he's out there on an island by himself. There's no help. So I don't know. You guys know more than I do.
Hey, brother, you know whose fault it is for Donovan Smith's holding calls in 2022? Ali Marpet. Blame Ali Marpet. He's living his best life.
It's that chemistry, and you're exactly right. Tristan Wirfs
Pro Bowler
on that offensive line. He was hurt in the Rams game. That's a big-time injury. You rested him today. You get an opportunity to have him next week. Knock on wood, no injuries during the week there. Of course, it looks like you're going to get back Donovan Smith. We'll see about Ryan Jensen. I think this is the plan going forward, that Ryan Jensen is either going to be a left guard or center. You shift Hansey over, you keep him at center, play Ryan Jensen a left guard, and you're exactly right. Maybe that does help out. We'll see if Jensen comes back. No official word by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Yes, Ray.
Even if it doesn't make them play better at the end of the day, you put the side-by-sides, and you're like, Jensen didn't PFF Pro Football Focus, whatever that means, that they didn't grade out better. If it gives these guys confidence, if it gives them a little swagger, if it gives them a little bit of extra self, hey, we got Jensen back. He's not starting, but he's here. If it gives them that confidence, because that's the one thing 2022 Buccaneers, this offense have had. Lack of confidence. 11 days in preseason, a billionaire's wedding on a Friday night. Where are we going? Who are we going? The guy's 102 years old. Is Julio here? No, Julio's down by the schoolyard. Who's schoolyard? Not our schoolyard, because Julio didn't show up till week 8. The thing about this Buccaneers offense is they haven't had the confidence. This Buccaneers defense, they're confident, baby. They look good today, right? But that Buccaneers offense, they need confidence. And if just getting Jensen back for a depth piece gives you a little bit of confidence, all right.
I agree. Steve, what else?
Play today. I mean, I can only imagine if we had these guys were playing. I just think that they will look so much better than they did. And especially stopping the run. And I'm also watching this Eagles game right now. And they're up 13-0, but man, they don't look like that good.
Well, I mean, again,
what's the Dallas-Washington game? Do you know?
What is that Dallas-Washington game right now?
13-0. Commanders.
Oh, Grady.
Wow.
Grady.
Look at
Okay,
that.
so
it looks like it could be the Cowboys,
Dallas
the way it plays out right now. I mean, how do you feel about that matchup? Cowboys versus the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. You like it?
I don't care who it is. We playing. That's all that matters to me.
I love it.
You give it all. I personally like being considered the freaking underdogs, and then I like to shove it in everyone's face. And then here in Texas too, I love throwing that in their face. I love throwing about that in their face.
I love his enthusiasm. I love it here on this web. What else? Steve?
San Antonio. I didn't know.
San Antonio, and he's a Bucs fan. You gotta love.
I didn't know they even had cool people in San Antonio. I'm kidding. I'm kidding, brother. I know they do now.
Love Steve.
But the Cowboys, I'm not gonna lie, they make me more nervous than the Eagles do. That Tony Pollard, right? Man, he's so small, but he's so shifty, and Zeke ain't running as well as he did. And then Dak, I don't have my faith in Dak. I think CD's a little overrated.
Well, look, Carlton Davis, you're going to get Carlton Davis back. You're going to have Jamel Dean. Sean Murphy Bunting has been playing better, so that back end is getting healthy at the right time.
That's what she said.
Right, exactly. Keanu O'Neal goes out with a hip injury, so we'll check on that. But once again, you're going to get Carlton Davis. I feel good about Carlton Davis covering a CD Lamb or Sean Murphy Bunting. I think, again, for me, it becomes one-dimensional game if you can shut down that running game. And if you have a Vita Vea and you have, of course, an Akeem Hicks, once again, we look at this statistic, the Bucs are far better with those two players. I believe they're like 6-1. But both of those players are on the field, and they're holding teams at 89 yards of rushing. You'll take that all day long.
Yeah.
If not, then it's totally different. It's like 2-7 with those players not on the field together. And I guess that now is 2-8 because Vea wasn't on there. And it's over 120 rushing yards, which consequently, by the way, Algier and the Falcons went over. So there's a big time difference when you have a Vea and you have, of course, an Akeem Hicks. Those two big hosses are definitely taking the pressure off of, they're freeing up the guys on the outside. And not only that, they're able to get that penetration to stop that running game. That's the reason why you upgrade to Hicks in the first place, and you're excited about having both of those players on the field at the same time. So I'm okay with going against the Cowboys because I think you can make them one-dimensional, put the onus on Dak Prescott to win the game, and at the end of the day, I feel like he's going to throw you some interceptions because that's what he's done ever since he's come back from this injury.
Yeah, I agree. And I got two more things that I'll let y'all go.
Sure, go for it.
Trask, I get it. He was against, our second, third string against their first and second.
He looked bad. He
didn't look good.
He looked a little bad.
Stuff, but man, I don't think he's the answer. I really do think we need to draft someone this year. I don't see anyone coming free agency. So I do think, and if we have to draft, what do you guys think? And then real quick, and then I'll hang up. I saw an article, I think it was Joe Bucs fan or something like that, that's saying that the Bucs should push to get Sean Payton. And
I don't think it happens because the Saints would have to give him up. I don't think the Saints are just going to give him up. You're going to have to give up multiple draft.
And what's the thing? Do we get Sean Payton and then we sell out to Tom retires and goes to the booth and we pay Aaron Rodgers $60 million and we throw it all on the offense?
I think what everybody's thinking is because here's what they're thinking.
Yeah, but the defenses win championships.
Listen. They're thinking Sean Payton comes to the Bucs because Payton has wanted to work with Brady, that Brady will come back for another year. That will entice
It ain't worth it.
Brady
Come
back.
No,
Brady can come back any way it goes. We don't know that. That's the main question of the offseason. We haven't gotten to the playoff game yet.
Playoffs.
Once the playoff game is all over, then you decide that kind of stuff.
Ask Sean Payton what his career was like in New Orleans without now you made me forget about Allen. Dennis Allen at defensive coordinator. You bring in Peyton automatically here. Bowles is gone. It means you fired your head coach. So say goodbye to this top 5 defense against the rush and the back. Our secondary has been looking great the last. Say bye to that. And also say bye to a lot of those depth pieces because not only are you going to lose an Akeem Hicks, or you're not going to be able to re-sign guys, but you're spending $60 million on a quarterback alone to give Sean Payton his what? No, Tampa Bay. It's defensive minded. We find enough offense and we win it. Make them walk the plank. Throw them in Tampa Bay. You don't go for Sean Payton. You have to give up a first round pick.
Here's the thing, and we'll throw this out there because this was reported by Tampa Bay Times there. The Bucs were very close to hiring offensive coordinator who calls the plays for the Alabama Crimson Tide, who's also familiar with Tom Brady, Bill O'Brien, until Byron Leftwich decided to come back and didn't take the job with Jacksonville. They were looking to hire him. So let's say they let go of Byron Leftwich. You hire a Bill O'Brien because he's familiar with Tom Brady. Tom Brady's familiar with his offense. Would you like that move, Steve?
Man, that debacle in Houston, right?
Well, Bill O'Brien was a coach for Houston,
right? But he got rid of Deshaun. He didn't massage that situation whatsoever. I'm sorry.
Well, he got rid of DeAndre Hopkins.
But also he was.
But he's not going to be your general manager. He's not going to be the coach. He's going to be the offensive coordinator. That's going to be his main responsibility.
And who's the defensive coordinator? Larry Foote? Do we bring who do we move up? Who do we bring? Do we change our philosophy altogether? Go from a 3-4 to a 4-3, and then
Todd Bowles is still your coach. It's Bill O'Brien is your offensive coordinator.
Oh, okay, yeah.
All
right.
So
Steve, whisper in my ear.
if Steve, if the Bucs pulled something along the lines of that, would you be happy with something along those lines to keep Brady intact?
I mean, yeah, because I also think that Brady's gonna also have a lot of pull in what the offense does, especially as he's getting older.
Correct.
And what he do, the type of plays, not so much those 6-7 step backs. I don't think it's like that big of a deal changing the offensive coordinator because Brady's still going to do what Brady wants to do.
He's calling the offense, which is why.
Right. He's calling the offense. He's making a lot of the decisions. He has a lot of the input. And I'm going to tell you right now, I keep on saying this. A lot of people, a lot of pundits out there saying that Brady is unhappy with the Bucs. It's not real. He is happy with the Bucs because the Bucs are giving him the decisions to make, whether it's on personnel, whether it's on play calling, whatever it is, they rolled out the red carpet. So if you're Tom Brady and you came to a place look, a lot of people are just trying to connect the dots at the end of the day. The big time rumor is that Brady goes to the Raiders. That's certainly a possibility.
Well, let me ask you guys this though, Pete, if you don't, I sorry to cut you off, but my phone's about to shut down. My battery's going dead.
Problem.
So we're talking on this right now. Let me ask you guys all three. I'm not going to drop out here unless my phone just literally quits. Was I the only one thinking that once Tom Brady went to the sidelines and he put the jersey on without the pads, wasn't I thinking, well, wouldn't it be great though if the Bucs had continued to let Tom still call the offense, even with Blaine Gabbert and even with Kyle Trask in there? Because I mean, the offense ended up struggling, and you're like, wouldn't it have been great? I mean, wouldn't it have been just great if they just put the headphones on him, but it would have been underscoring Byron Leftwich entirely. But I mean, I was like, because it seemed like that was what happened with the second and third. Besides the fact that we're playing our 3s against their 1s, our 4s against their 2s, is the fact that without Tom in there, literally every chance we had of a creativity in this offense, and I hate to throw Byron under the bridge like this, but every ability we had, except for the pitches outside, which they were calling when Tom was in there, every bit of the ability and the creativity for this offense seemed to leave. And that's when I started really realizing where are our pluses in this game. It's not about the score, that's for sure.
And again, going back to the first drive, you had an end around with Devin Tompkins.
That looked like, yeah.
That was beautiful. You like to see more of that, and you'd hope that you incorporate more than that. And then after that, you turn over the ball, you set up for a field goal, and then you get that turnover by Devin White, a recovery, sack, fumble recovered by Devin White, a short field. Blaine Gabbert comes in about 3 minutes into the game before halftime, and you get a quick touchdown by Gage, who you hope is healthy because he's been hurt for the majority of the year. But then after that, Bucs don't do anything because offensively, like he said, I mean, the level of talent goes down. You're playing your backups at the end of the day, and you really don't care if you win it or not. I know that's a bad attitude.
You're always the one. You're always the one asking questions. Let me ask you, Peter Blake, first, and then let's ask our caller first. What was your best? What was your highlight play for the Bucs today, and what was your low light play for the Bucs today?
I like that end around. I thought that was nice. I like the touchdown to Kyle Rudolph. It was nice to get him involved. I like the whole drive. 10 plays, 70 yards. We're coming out to Chris Godwin. We don't have Mike Evans. We know that we have to get Godwin his catches and his yards. They do that. They're able to have some semblance, Leo word, of run game because they had 60 yards in that first half. I mean, I like the game plan. I like that momentum, even though, again, it's kind of soured because of that second half and giving up all those big-time drives by your second defense and your third-ranked defense. It's not good, but I like the first drive. That's the first drive. I like how creative they were, how they were running the ball, pass, play action down the field with Godwin. I think those are my favorite plays.
Well, how about our caller? What did
you like today out of this game?
So, Ray, I'm going to answer the two questions first. I'm going to start off with the play. So, I might get crucified for this, but I like.
Oh, here we go. I'm good. This is good.
So if you look at it, he's holding the ball. Yes, he's covering up. He's going down. He's running. He's running hard.
Oh.
See on the sideline, Lenny's telling him, you got to hold it up. I think that's all they have to clean up. It's 2 weeks in a row. I also think a little bit of rust. He's been hurt. He's got his knee.
That was deep. That was deep.
No, that was good. That was definitely good. You could see Godwin on the sidelines trying to work on that, and you hope that's not a problem going forward. You have to give credit to where credit is due for the defender doing a peanut punch, which a lot of Chicago natives are familiar with
dirty bastards.
Tillman.
So how about the highlight play?
Highlight
play.
I like that touchdown with
Kyle Rudolph, number 50, baby. Yes.
Yes. I like that. I like that too.
Hear more, and I don't know. Cade Hine, he's a rookie. I think he looks good. I think Cade Hine's got a bright future with the team. And then also to answer what you said a few minutes ago, I assumed Brady was going to have the headset. Assume because
yeah, like he just went over
or something. They have the headsets,
right?
Calm the plays. I
listening. Yeah.
45 years old. All right, I did my stuff. I'm gonna let Byron, and then buyer beware. I say this again, buyer beware. If you hire Byron Leftwich as your head coach, what has all offensive coordinators done that left New England to go be head coach?
Not only going back to the comparison of New England coaches that lead Belichick, but Byron Leftwich this year has been disappointing. This offense has been.
Pete, let me go back. He just said. Brilliantly. I'll bet if you ask Tom Brady in retrospect, he's watching the playback tonight, he'll tell you 7 days a week and twice on game day Sunday that he wishes he would have, as generic as it may have looked, he wishes he would have put that receiver in his ear so he can hear the first string offense that's being called in instead of being reminded on the sidelines of the guy that nobody will give a high five to because he's standing there and you can see he was struggling with, should I show that I'm pissed off that I've been pulled out or should I show that I'm supportive of my second and third stringers in there? And as the caller says, if he'd had that speaker, over not so much calling it, but overvising or looking at the offense being called on the field, it would have been a lot better of a look for him. I'll just say that.
Good stuff, Steve.
Also beware too. Also beware, Russell Gage. Yeah, he's been at the doghouse the last several weeks. Is he still on the team? But I tell you what, after a few of those catches, he looked confident.
Well, he looked confident. He looked confident in the Arizona game. If you don't have Gage in that Arizona game, and I get it, he had that drop earlier on, but he had some big catches, especially in overtime. And by the way, 5 touchdowns this year, that's a career high. So for a guy who's been largely ineffective at some points and also the majority of the time injured, 5 touchdowns, still pretty good. He has an opportunity to redeem himself, if you will, stay healthy, definitely be a target, be that consistent target. If Evans and Godwin are shut down, whomever they're playing at the
But he was milking that back thing, right? I mean, we saw it all in the replay. He landed on the right side, but he went to the mid back. Gage, if you're gonna make sure you go on the side you actually landed on.
I hope that wasn't a big time injury because
he's good. He's good.
All year long has been injured, and you have to feel bad about him. Feel bad for him because
Julio today. No Julio at all.
Julio at at all. But again, the plan is to get him healthy. That was the plan in the first place. So yes.
And so this lineup on the come next weekend, right? Of course, you got Big Mike, you got Chris, you got Gage, right? You got Cade, and then also Collender, and then with Jensen, Worfs, and Donovan Smith playing.
Hey, I'll give you guys my prediction because, Pete, I apologize. I'm getting ready. Can you hear me? Can you hear me still?
I can hear you still, yes.
Tell me if you guys don't agree with this. Regardless of what holds in this postseason holds for the Buccaneers, if there's going to be success next week at home and we continue on to the divisional round, I'll guarantee you if we get to both of those games, watching today's game, I got a feeling that Devin Tompkins is going to be one of those players that makes one of those splash plays. That kid is a firecracker ready to go boom.
You never know what the Bucs are going to do, especially with the end around. You like to see more of that when the game matters.
That end around is setting up for a future pass down the field with that kid because end around and then you fake it to him and he ends up going out in the flat and Tom hits him and gets some 50 yards yak. You just know it's coming.
He's got that speed threat.
Those pitch runs look good. I can't remember seeing that much this year.
Well, they look good when Gadecki isn't holding because he
it sucks.
It stinks because you get that first down and maybe you don't settle for a field goal at the end of the day. Steve, thanks a lot for the call. Let me go ahead and give you the Byron Leftwich.
How about them Bucs, baby?
Use that second call if you want.
Give him Ric Flair. Give him a Ric Flair.
I'll give you the Ric Flair too. Woo! Appreciate you, buddy. All right, go Bucs.
Go Bucs.
All right, open phone line 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. Also a new number 727-409. 7528 again, 727-409-7528. Give me some final thoughts here. We'll get you out of here on this.
Yeah, use 409. That's a cleaner. I'm trying to figure out a mnemonic that you can go 727, the cleaner 409, 7528. But we'll get it, brother. You got that multiple line use. So we can, again, that was literally the highlight of this postgame show. Thank you for having me. But having Trav Feely from Rocket Sports and then Harry the Greek also on from 1252 Sports and us having a 4-way conversation with only 2 of us in video, that was a highlight of this postgame. Again, this game, I've told you guys, I said already earlier in the show, from last week, my mind's been on next week. And regardless of who they put in front of us, this Buccaneers team, the one that made the Cincinnati Bengals look silly in the first half 2 weeks ago, but, not the one that made them look like world beaters in the second half. But this Buccaneers team has within their capacity a veteran-led team that won the World Championship in 2020 and then made it to the divisional round before they spotted those Rams a 24-point lead and almost climbed back in. Has it within themselves to have success in this postseason. Which team's going to show up next Saturday or Sunday, depending on when the game's being played in the first round of the playoffs? That's your call to make. Playoffs.
All right,
you, brother.
We'll keep you abreast of that situation. Tampa Bay, Ray Kennedy, best of the Bay. Thanks a lot for your time here on the Evolution. All right.
Go Bucs.
Go Bucs. There you go right there. Let's go back out to the comments because Troy is complaining we're not reading the comments. Again, Facebook stars are out there. If you want your comments read, it would be appreciated. Also, YouTube chats are open. So, Troy, if you want your comments read right away, give to the cause.
This guy sucks.
If not, get the hell out of my face. I'm tired of hearing you whining. That's all you do is whine. You get all this content for free, and you go, read the comments, bro. Come on, man. You got Bucs fans out there that want to react to this loss. They're getting ready for the playoffs, and all you are doing is wasting my time.
Shut up!
All right, let's go back out to these comments here again. YouTube chats and also Facebook stars. Give to the cause. I love doing this, but if somebody's going to complain about what I'm doing, contribute something. And instead of, bitching and moaning, like always, Troy. That's you. You're the bitch and moan. That's what you do, bud.
This guy sucks.
All right. Let's see. I'm right. I turned the game off after the half and watched the Bills and Pats. Absolutely. Steven says, imagine Mike wasn't resting. Mike was resting. No one cares. Laugh out loud. Typical Bucs mentality. Player to lose.
This guy sucks.
Right there. There's the comment of the day. That is you, my friend. Troll King Express. Nothing. You gave nothing to the show. Nothing. For that, only care about the Bucs. We are division champs. We are in the tournament. We are getting healthier. We are looking a lot better than the last two. Half the game offensively and defensively. We have Brady. Fire those cannons. Yes. Again, people getting up in arms about the loss to Atlanta today. I see you, Ron. You're texting me during the live show. I get it. It doesn't mean anything. Would you have liked to have a win today? Yes, you would. But you didn't get it. What you got is a fairly healthy team. Is that okay? Or do you want to play the starters for the whole entire game for a meaningless game? Is that what you want to do? Again, keep it in perspective. Yes, you're 8-9. Yes, you lost to the Atlanta Falcons. But are you playoff ready? That's my question for you guys. 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. The other number, in case you can't get in because you got complainers out there like Troy who never calls the show, but you people want to call the show, 727-409-7528. Steve is going to use his second call. Steve, welcome to the Evolution, my friend.
Oh, man, Pete, I'm sorry. I don't have much to contribute, but man, I love seeing you freaking get fired up.
Well, I mean, I got to get fired up sometimes because this guy's like, "Why didn't you read my comments?" And it's like a big baby.
I see him all the time.
I got to get on these people, man. I got to get on.
Oh man, I love it. Keep it up. I love the show. Keep doing what you're doing, brother. That's all I had to say.
Thank you, man. I appreciate you. We'll go ahead and give you the Byron left.
How about them Bucs, baby?
I mean, people are like, well, you're better when you're angry or aggressive. This is me. This is who I am. Do you want to see the good part of me or the bad part of me or the best part of me? The best part of me is when I do get aggressive. I get it. There's Bucs fans out there. I'm ready for the playoffs. I don't know about you. Playoffs. Yes. Are you healthy? More than likely, yes. Will you get back Ryan Jensen? Hopefully. Tristan Wirfs most likely will be healthy. Donovan Smith most likely will be healthy. Vita Vea most likely will be healthy. Carlton Davis most likely will be healthy. These are some of the players you were missing last year. That's the reason why you lost to the Rams. Go back to it. We talked about it at the beginning of the season when Brady came back. Unfinished business. It starts next week. Is it a Saturday? Don't care. Is it a Sunday? Don't care. Is it a Monday? Don't care. We'll be here on the Evolution of Sports Talk Television. Are you ready for Bucs football? Are you ready for playoff football? I know I am. All right. Let's go out to Roger Shoe. Kyle Trash. That's all you got?
This guy sucks.
Let's go out to You Know I'm Right. But if we would have won, Troy, you would have been, it's a conspiracy. It's the refs' fault. The league wants them to win. Exactly. Let the truth set you free.
How about them Bucs, baby?
Let the truth set you free. I feel like I'm preaching. But I'm preaching to the choir here because that's exactly what Troy would say. That's exactly what Troy's playbook is. It's about as imaginative as Byron Leftwich at some points this year. You like that? Bars. 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. Again, new number, 727-409-7528. So good stuff. You know I'm right. Jay Jones says Trask is trash. Wasn't good today, guys. Not good at all. 3 for 8, 24 yards. I get it. Backup offensive line didn't mean much. Let's go out to Roger. Roger, welcome. Let me acknowledge you.
Acknowledge me.
What do you have to say
That's
using
right.
your second call?
Acknowledge the tribal troll.
And I'll acknowledge this right here.
This guy sucks.
Go ahead.
So, can I, with your permission, ban Troy Polamalu and get rid of his monkey ass?
No, I like him on. I like beating him up. I like beating him up.
I like him too.
But I would say, look, if you're going to complain about what I do, contribute something to it. Not
If
just
he
you,
has
Roger.
such a problem,
Right.
call into the show.
Change the subject. Change the narrative, if you will. We don't got any commercials. I got a couple commercials. I can play commercials all freaking night long if you want to. If you don't want to hear me talk about Bucs football or NFL football, go to another show that's going to allow you to say what you want to say.
If you've got something to complain about or you're not happy with where the show's run, call in and air your complaints.
I'm management. I'm the host. I'm the producer. What do you want from me? I'll give you what you want.
Exactly.
I'll hang up on you. I'll troll you back. You can troll me back. You can do whatever you want to, but don't complain if you're not contributing anything to the cause.
Exactly.
All right. What else, Roger?
And it's now Philadelphia 16, Giants 0, 45 seconds left till halftime.
All right. Well, see, there you go. So that's your update right there from Roger Shoe, the tribal troll out of Newport Richie. Once again, the Eagles are winning that game. What about the Cowboy game?
Let me look. Let me flip. It is, let's see. It is Washington Commandos 13, Cowboys 0.
Commandos, you know.
Shut
Commanders, not the Commandos, 13-0 over the Dallas Cowboys. So thanks a lot to the Dallas Cowboys
there's a minute
today
and a half till halftime.
to showing up. I'll have to get off here and watch the rest of those games. Anything else, Roger?
Peter, don't let the trolls get to you, brother.
Oh, bro, I love the trolls. But people are like,
we've been dealing with Troy for years.
I love Troy being a part of the show, but again, you know,
We love him, but he's a pain in the ass.
You're gonna get that. You're gonna get that passion. You know, this is not again your sports talk show that's gonna be cookie cutter and not be afraid to scream at you. I'm not gonna curse at you, but you've seen me when I cursed at somebody. Don't pick that side. I don't want to reveal that side. But again, if you're going to call me out, I'm going to call your ass back out.
Sometimes you have to.
That's it. Exactly.
So, Troy, if you're watching, and I know that you are, call in.
That's it.
I beg you.
Two phone lines.
Pay you to
Two
call
phone
in.
lines to call in, and this is what we hear from Troy. Nothing. Crickets.
Like
besides
always.
wisecracking troll comments, but we allow that here on the Sports Web. Roger, thanks a lot for the call. We'll go ahead and give you the Byron Leftwich. Talk to you later. Open phone line 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. New phone line 727-409-7528. Now, we are going to go to a commercial here. This segment brought to you by Spring Hill Trailer and Equipment Repairs. They repair all types of trailers. Give them a call at 985-570-7269. It's Spring Hill Trailers. And, of course, keep this lock. We'll go out to you wager here. If you haven't heard on the evolution of Sports Talk Television, we'll be back.
uwager.lv, sportsbook, and casino. Sign up today at uwager.lv, the premier online sportsbook, taking wagers since 1998. The most player-friendly lines, weekly juice specials, and a true dime line in MLB. Unique casino platforms with thousands of games. Play poker, high stakes, low stakes, or tournament play. uwager.lv, what we offer. Free same-day payouts. Customer service and wagering support, 24/7, year-round. Free monthly rebates on your action and daily casino rebates. Contests, free bets, best bonuses, and giveaways. Generous referral program. Get an 80% free play bonus on your first deposit, up to $1,000. Sign up today, and use promo code SPORTSWEB. Remember, you can't win if you don't play.
All right, welcome back to the evolution of Sports Talk Television. It's the Sports Web. I'm your host, Peter Blake, giving you something to think about here live on I Love St. Pete, the hub, and Amped Up Sports. Plenty of time to call and talk about your Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Disappointing loss, but really doesn't mean anything at the end of the day besides record-wise. The Bucs finished with an 8-9 record for the year. Brady plays the majority of the game. We'll get back to that in a moment, but I would definitely want to read these comments. Tommy Camp says, Peter H. Blake, I don't even claim this win. We beat Gabbert and made our draft pick worse. We are the Falcons.
Yes! Yes!
That's how Falcon fans are feeling at this juncture. Let's go out to Greg Cole. In fairness, Trask was in the game, but with a whole lot of nothing to work with. Agree with you on that.
Flawless victory.
So you don't know. I'm not ready to rule him as a bust because I haven't seen any body of work. I do trust the Bucs organization, and if he's not able to beat out Blaine Gabbert next year, then I definitely think the Bucs may be in the running or may be in line to draft somebody. But once again, the main time or the big time story is, first and foremost, go into the playoffs, have the momentum, beat some teams, and we'll see. Once that's over with, then the big time story is, will Brady come back? Because the rumors are rampant all this week that he's going to the Raiders. The rumors are rampant that he's going to go to the New Orleans Saints or the Miami Dolphins. Don't necessarily think the Miami Dolphins, but who knows? And join up with Sean Payton. But Bucs fans, you haven't gotten there yet. Let's try to win some games in the playoffs, shall we? 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. The league is rigged. Vegas controls everything.
This guy sucks.
All right, so let's go out to Ed. Ed, welcome back to the Evolution. What do you have to say?
Yeah, I've seen Troy post that post a minute ago. Just posted on the screen.
Mm-hmm.
I got thinking maybe he just doesn't have a phone. Maybe that's why he doesn't call in, because he has no phone.
Well, he may not have a phone, and I don't know what your phone deal is right now, but your phone's not working well. Are you in a cell zone there? What's going on?
Is that better?
Yeah, that's better there. It sounded like you bought your phone from 7-Eleven.
No, I just had it on speaker. I guess
Okay.
can't
Yeah,
do that
that's
with
probably
the show.
not a good idea to do that, my friend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I just think he doesn't have a phone, and that's why he doesn't call in. He needs to go get him a phone, and so he can have a voice on here. Well, I mean, he has a voice on here already, but it's just the, posting so that he has a voice on here. But he should call into the show. He should definitely call into the show. And I'm calling him out. I'm calling him out right now.
All right.
I'm gonna troll him.
Troll him.
And until he calls into the show, he's just gonna be trolled.
All right. So Ed, you go ahead and do that. You got my permission to troll him. Roger, you got also my permission to troll him. Everybody want to troll Troy. Say that 3 times. Troll Troy. Troll Troy. Troll Troy. You got my permission to do that. What else, Ed?
Cool. All right, that's it. Have a good weekend.
All right, man. Appreciate you as always. Let me give you the Byron Leftwich.
How about them Bucs, baby?
Let me fire the cannon. All right. So the league is rigged. Vegas controls everything, not responding. Ezekiel Elliott looks like one of those creatures from the Dark Crystal movies. That's actually pretty good. So I'll give you that one.
Yeah.
Oh, geez. Greg Cole says get feeling better, Harry. Absolutely. Ralph Williams, Steelers get the best of the Claypool trade. Bears stink. We'll see about that because I like Claypool. Even though the Bears traded a second-round pick, which, by the way, turned out to be the first pick in the second round, I still think the kid's got some talent. We shall see. Steve says, watching the Eagles game, Giants D is looking good. Ralph, Brady has a bad game. Any Given Sunday, my favorite football movie. Absolutely love that movie. Steven says, saw an article that says the Bucs should push to get Sean. Thoughts? We talked about it. Troy, NBA, bro. We don't care about the NBA or La China, but we do here on the Sports Web.
This guy sucks.
Ralph says, we have a casino here in Pittsburgh. NBA sucks, as you know, I'm right. Okay, Todd Bowles sent both the team and the fans mixed messages today, as either was playing to win or rest the starters, let Brady in too long or pulled him too early. It's just bad coaching. I get what you're saying, but again, this decision was not just Todd Bowles and Byron Leftwich or Jason Light. It was Tom Brady's. And I continue to say that Brady wanted to play in the game. You could see when he got taken out how upset he was. He's a prideful person. He wanted to play in this game. He wants to have as much momentum going in. But at the end of the day, it's also about staying healthy. Can you stay healthy? The Bucs did today. Ben Cornett, today didn't matter. We got the key guys rested. Some get their reps to prepare for next week. Sure, a win would have been nice, but now it's a whole new season. Let's see what this team can do. Woo! Good stuff, Ben. Let me go out to me, Sador. Bucs crushing Phillies dreams is a dream come true. I like that.
How about them Bucs, baby?
Let's go out to Ralph. Hey, Ray, that's the worst looking hat I've ever saw. Buy hat, a free bowl of soup. I guess I'll give it to you. Quit the trash spin. He's not good. I didn't say he's not good. I said he didn't look good today. But again, does he really have a body of work? I understand you can't stand the pick. You hate the pick. Everybody knows in Facebook Galaxy that you don't like him in the meta universe, right? But you have not seen him play with starters. You have not seen him play enough reps in order to say this guy's a bust. Now, what I would be concerned with is that the last couple of years, he's not able to beat out Blaine Gabbert as the backup quarterback of this team. What I would be concerned with is when the organization comes out and says Blaine Gabbert is still the backup because Kyle Trask hasn't done enough, just paraphrasing. That's what I would be concerned with. I understand you don't like the pick. The body of work is not there for me to say this guy is not good, he's a bust. Did he play well today? No. Did he play with second and third stringers? Yes. Against a first-team defense. Oh, it looks good on you, though. Give Trask a break. Dude has to learn under the worst coaches in football, Bowles and Sandwich. Ralph Williams, Steelers won 28-14. Ben, Dolphins won, so they're in. Steelers are out, but Tomlin still has never had a losing season.
Yes! Yes!
Good stuff. Let's go out to Ralph. I'll give mediocre Mike a small ounce of credit. Ralph, I think you definitely should give him more than small ounce of credit. Playing with the conditions, TJ Watt being hurt the majority of the year, having a rookie quarterback, not knowing who your quarterback is, having your running back out. They've had multiple injuries, and still Mike Tomlin gets the best out of that team. I would take Mike Tomlin every day, every holiday, 2 ways on Sunday. Definitely take Mike Tomlin. I think he's a great coach. I think you're just not a big-time Mike Tomlin fan. That's fine. I like Alex. He calls in, says bye within 5 minutes. Those other callers want to yap too much, bro. That's what we do here on the Sports Web. Sorry to burst your bubble.
This guy sucks.
Dak pick 6. Shocking development there.
How about them Bucs, baby?
I told you that. Laugh out loud. You know I'm right after watching that. I'm confident playing the self-proclaimed America's team. Agree.
Oh, yeah.
Let's go out to Troy. Read the comments, bro. I am reading the comments now, and you're not responding to the comments. Dak and the Cowboy O-line looks like ass.
Oh, yeah.
Maria Nikki Monroe says, looking good. Thank you very much. We'll fire the cannons for that. Appreciate you tuning in. Harry says, I want more comments from Troy Polamalu. All right. Laugh out loud. Oh, my God. Bitch and moan. Roger again. Tell him, Pete, pay to bitch and moan. You can pay to bitch and moan. We got YouTube chats out there. Want to give to the cause? Give to the cause. Facebook stars, they're out there. I just say, if you're going to complain, then you can pay to complain. I'll give you that opportunity. But if you're not paying to complain, don't complain. How about that? How many times did I say complain? Troy's my favorite. Leave him alone. Poor Troy. Harry, you get this.
This guy sucks.
Bucs are trash. So are you.
Shitter!
Steven, love seeing you get fired up. I think a lot of people do. Let's see. It's playoff time, baby. Go Bucs. Yes.
How about them Bucs, baby?
Let's go out to Steven. Healthy. Exactly.
Oh, yeah.
Steven again. Hell yeah. Fire those MF cannons. Troy again. See you at work tomorrow, Pete. No, you won't.
Shitter!
I believe LFG. Go Bucs. Let's go on to Steven. Peter, have you a good whiskey? Kick back and watch the Lions win tonight. I like it. I like that comment.
How about them Bucs, baby?
Even though I don't drink whiskey or have any drinks at all, sometimes some of the fans on here make me want to drink, and I think this Bucs offense, the majority of the year, has made you want to drink, but I don't. But thank you very much. Troy can create his own webcast. It will be a fan of one.
Oh, yeah.
Himself. Can call it.
Flawless victory.
Oh, the LA Rams are winning 13-6 at halftime. Once again, Harry the Greek and his greatness showing here on the Evolution of Sports Talk Television. That's why you got to tune in to the over-under on 1252 Chicago Sports. I think it's going to be next Sunday. So maybe next Saturday. Who knows? So good stuff there. Another score for the Greek. Michael says, what's up, Pete? Just checking in. Let's forget this season. We are in the playoffs. It's a whole new season. Let's go, Bucs. Playoffs!
How about them Bucs, baby?
Absolutely. Good stuff, Mike. Thanks a lot. Who has given stars before, and he doesn't complain. What's your excuse, Troy? You don't have an excuse.
This guy sucks.
Troy got an Obama phone, obviously. You all need to stop bullying me. So what? Ed says, hey, Troy, get a phone. Call the show. If not, sit down, dude. Ed again. Hey, Troy Polamalu, get a phone, then call the show. If not, don't cry in the comments that don't get red. Lions versus the Chiefs in the Super Bowl.
This guy sucks.
Oh, my God. With that being said, I think we should wrap it up here. Not much to say, guys. At the end of the day, the Bucs lose 30-17. Let's go out to this comment. Obama phone. That was good. In fact, let's go ahead and check some of these comments out from the other sites here. See if we got any other comments from I Love St. Pete as we're on there. Don't want to neglect those guys as I'm producing right now on the phone. Any comments here? I don't see any, so no comments there. Any comments anywhere else? Don't see them at this point. So we'll go ahead and wrap this puppy up. Not sure if we're doing a show tomorrow. Of course, the national championship game versus the Georgia Bulldogs versus TCU. We may have an earlier show. I haven't decided yet, but thanks a lot for tuning in. As always, Michael says, Obama phone, I love you more, Pete. Thank you very much, my friend. Love meeting you out at Whiskey Wings and Tarpon Springs.
Yeah.
Thanks to all the guests tonight. Of course, Travis Feely of Rocket Sports and Entertainment, my Around the NFL Insider. Harry the Greek, even dealing with a sickness, is able to come on. Professional handicapper extraordinaire at 1252 Chicago Sports. And, of course, best of the Bay, Mr. Tampa Bay Ray Kennedy. Once again, like and subscribe to the Sports Web on YouTube. Like I Love St. Pete, The Hub, and Amped Up Sports. And keep on tuning in to the Evolution of Sports Talk Television. Do three things after your Bucs fall to the Atlanta Falcons, but it's playoff time. Go ahead. We'll keep you abreast of the situation of who the Bucs are looking to play right now. It looks like the Dallas Cowboys. We don't know if it's Saturday, Sunday, or Monday. We'll have that official announcement soon. Bring your passion. Bring your excitement. Just don't bring any nonsense. I'm your host, Peter Blake, your Rolex reporter. What time is it? It's my time. And Bucs fans, it's your time. Welcome to the playoffs.